Hello and welcome to another episode of Podcast 572. As always, I'm your host Kyle. I'm joined by my two friends Dan and Matt, and we're post Nintendo Switch 2 launch.
Ooh.
Not that either of you care that much, because neither of you got one, but I actually brought mine in here, so I have mine, and I'll talk about it for a little bit, but I have mine here. If it
click
cool.
the magnets on and off for me.
Do you want me? I can, but
I
yeah,
hear
I
it.
have it here. Yeah, I can click the magnets on.
ASMR magnet click.
Here, let's see if that works. We'll try it real quick.
Ooh,
All right, let's see.
it.
You ready? You heard it.
Oh, that's a
There
good
you
click.
go.
That's a good
I
click.
like how I will say I like how it clicks. It feels like we'll jump into. I didn't mean to start this, so I will mute that. But so we'll jump into it. So I've had it since last Saturday. I've played a little bit of Mario Kart. I have updated I keep saying Twilight Princess, Tears of the Kingdom. So I've done the update for that. I walked around a little bit. I mean, it's a much better version of that game. Like 9-day difference in terms of performance and how good it looks.
Yeah.
But I like, as I walked around, I'm like, I don't even know what I was doing in this game. So that might be when I just restart when I'm ready at that point. So the thing I play the most is Mario Kart. And I have not played that much of it, but I will say, like, I do really like it. I've seen a lot of people talking about like the barren open world. I don't think it's that barren. So every time I turn a corner, there's something to do in that open world. At least for me, like there's these little, like every time you kind of turn a corner, there's something to do. Like there's an activity or something. I'm sure once you start doing those, like, yeah, it's going to dry up, but right now,
Or they just become the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
at a
and like I
certain
said,
point.
I haven't played that much of it. I've done a couple of the races. I like how the open world connects. I think that's pretty cool. And it seems like they crammed quite a bit into that open world. So, but it like as far as like racing, it's very similar to 8. They didn't do much. Like some of the other ones, you know how they kind of change things up. Like it wasn't at 7 where they had like the transformations with the vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's not really that big thing here. The big thing would be the open connected world. So, but I have not played it online yet. So, I did upgrade to the expansion pack. So, for the Nintendo Online, I have not used Game Chat, but I will say I've watched a lot of videos, and it seems like Game Chat, not the video portion, keep that in mind, but like the actual Game Chat works really well with the open mic. I've seen a bunch of people say it actually works pretty well. So, but I've not had a chance to test it. I only know one other person that has a Switch 2 that's using it right now. So, but the other thing that I started, and this will surprise you, Dan, but because I have the expansion pack, I now have access to Genesis. There's GameCube, although the GameCube lineup for launch is kind of weak in my opinion.
It's really lame that they could only get 3 games out of there at launch.
I thought the first Luigi's Mansion was going to be part of it, so that's why I was excited. But I guess that's later this year. But I dived into the GBA collection and I started. I've not played either of these games. It's a favorite of yours. Golden Sun.
Golden Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Great games.
So I started that last night. So I'm gonna start kind of slowly going through that, amongst other things that I'm playing. Sure. But that game seems really good, like especially the combat.
Yeah, the combat's very good. It's just old Final Fantasy, basically.
It's a lot like I thought it would be, because again, I never played it when it came. I remember when it came out. I never played it when it came out. I thought visually it would be more like Final Fantasy of that era, but it actually has kind of an interesting visual style when you get into battles.
Oh yeah,
that seems kind of ahead of its time for a GBA game.
It was very like
so.
I don't think it necessarily was Mode 7 stuff, but it's very similar in terms of like
to that.
How the backgrounds and stuff work.
Yeah. So
and the actual like attack animations and stuff. That game has one flaw in the battle system, and it is if you kill something with someone and the next person was queued up to attack that thing, instead of attacking something else, they do nothing. Which is, old school RPG stuff, but that can get kind of, you kind of have to think about stuff later on. You can't just mash A to attack because if the first person kills it, then everybody else does nothing for their turn.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a dumb thing, but I like that game because there's a lot of stuff to do outside of battle. Like you'll get, as you progress, you'll get a lot of like extra powers and stuff you can do to solve puzzles and get things.
Yeah, I'm not very far in it.
No, that game takes a little while to get going too.
There's quite a few, like if you look at some of the other systems, there's not as much. Like Genesis has a few games, but I feel like they could probably have a lot more. That was the only other game I dabbled in because I tried to dabble in one on each thing except GameCube. I didn't because I didn't. But Genesis, I loaded up the Mega Man. Remember the Mega Man port that had the first 3 games? That's a weird fucking thing that I forgot about. Like playing a Sega Genesis version of Mega Man 1 is very weird.
Yeah, it's an odd port.
So I played the first the Cutsman level. So, and it was very weird because it's not the NES music, it's that 16-bit Genesis music. And I'm not somebody that grew up on the Genesis, so I didn't have one as a kid. I was the Nintendo side of things. So that's why it was weird. Like I'm playing this now, like this doesn't feel right. So. No. I don't know how much more of that I'll go back to, but Golden Sun I'm looking at, and then right now I'm kind of picking Mario Kart, but like also trying to decide what one of these backlog Switch games I want to start first. So I haven't decided yet, but I will say like as far as transferring everything over, incredibly smooth. And again, I'm not one of these people that carried the last 8 years of gaming on this thing. Like I think a lot of Switch users did. So it might be a lot more intense for other people that do that system transfer. But for me, it took 20 minutes to upload on the old system before I got rid of it. And then the new system, it took about the same amount of time, maybe even a little less to download all that data. And then it was all right there. So once it does that, then it does have to re-download like each individual game.
Right.
So that takes a little bit of time. So I kind of had to let it, sit and do its thing while you play Mario Kart. So that's kind of what I did on Saturday.
And I forget, did yours have Mario Kart on it already, or did you get a code?
So let's talk about that part.
Yeah,
of it.
This is weird.
So some versions of the Switch 2 that come with Mario Kart have a code in the box. Some of them have it pre-installed for some reason. Odd. I was lucky because the pre-installed one was the one that screwed people over at midnight. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know this, for a lot of people that bought the game or bought the system at the midnight launch, Mario Kart did not unlock for those people until 3 a.m. So they could not play Mario Kart at launch. They had to wait a while.
That's wild.
Right? So, but I didn't get my system until the Saturday. So 2 days later. So here's the crazy part about that. So when you open the box for the system, and we can talk about Staplegate too.
Yeah.
When you open the box for the system, it's packed. I will say they could have done a better job packaging this thing when it comes to that part of it, because it is literally like a very thin piece of cardboard and that screen's right there.
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't flip it around.
I don't understand. I get why it's faced up because it's like, oh, there's the screen. Mm-hmm. Why isn't it in the bottom?
Yeah. Why isn't something covering it?
Why isn't it in the bottom tray and then that
the top tray is like the controllers and stuff?
Right. Yeah.
It just seems like a flaw. But when you open it up, it pops out like the little piece of paper that has like, here's your Mario Kart code. It has instructions on the back of how to download Mario Kart. Those instructions are wrong, as I learned. So they tell you it's very simple. There's 3 steps. Go to the eShop, sign into the eShop, look for the little place that says enter code. The problem on the Switch 2 is when you go to the eShop, it doesn't immediately take you to the eShop. It takes you to this different landing. Then you have to goofily go into the eShop. And then once you go into the online portion of this section, you have to press Y, and then you're in the actual eShop where it says that.
Weird.
That's wild.
It took me 10 minutes to figure this out because I'm sitting there like, how do I download Mario Kart? Like, this seems ridiculous because I kept looking for, I'm like, where is this enter the code thing? So that was just completely wrong on the box. But I got it installed, like I said. So it's been fine. Like as I've said before, all Switch 2 games, I'm just going to be digital this time.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mess with the game key cards and is it not?
Well,
a game
especially
key? It's just
as more stuff comes out, it seems like more and more stuff is just game key cards or codes and boxes. Like I'm sure you've seen that picture of like, and this happened on the Switch, and hell, it's happened as far back as the PS3, and I don't think many people remember that. But for them to make up a case to put a code in it
is a waste.
Is insane.
That's wild.
Like, I just don't get it. The Split Fiction one is just a perfect example of like how far this thing has fallen. There's like, why even print the case where it has a slot to put a card in it? What's the point?
Right. It's bizarre. I look at it the same way when I see or hear people that print out digital art or like artwork and make boxes for their digital like Steam games.
Yeah, that's
I'm
weird.
just like, that is such a waste.
I get it. I get it in a sense of like if you're doing it yourself and it's more of like, I want a physical representation of games I know, because maybe you're not the Steam guy who has 1,000 games in his Steam library.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like the 12 games you really like, and you can't buy physical PC stuff anymore. You just can't.
For sure.
So I understand that to a point, but for a company to produce this thing
seems like a waste.
It just seems like a waste of time and money and printing. Like somebody had to design that. Somebody had to print that.
Yeah.
Somebody had to put those things in the cases. It's just why? Especially when so now there's 3 tiers of these things.
Pretty much.
Actual releases, game key cards, which are just keys, and codes. If game key cards exist, why do you need codes? And if codes exist, why do you need game key cards?
Right.
From a Nintendo standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, at least a game key card I can resell. But from a Nintendo standpoint or a publisher standpoint, why am I bothering to pay to make physical things that are nothing? It's a token.
It's very dumb.
I don't know.
As far as the actual system goes, it's very. I think it feels very quality. Like, especially like I had to literally handle a regular Switch right before I got this, because I traded mine in, and it makes that original one feel very cheap.
Yeah.
Like in comparison, like it almost feels like, wow, that almost is like a prototype for what they wanted this thing to be. This one feels very quality. Like even you heard the little click when I did it. It feels natural. It feels very sturdy. The Joy-Cons feel incredibly sturdy.
I have a question about that.
Okay.
The button to release it. Is it in such a place where not necessarily you, but could someone push it on accident?
It's not as difficult because I'll try and show it here. Like, the button that you're talking about is right here.
Sure.
So it's like a trigger, but it's a trigger to the side.
Right.
And your fingers are going to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
So
how hard do you have to push it?
Pretty so here, I'll show it. Like, you have to it has a real good feel of like, you can kind of hear it almost snap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you think because it's literally magnets, and you think that
put it on upside
I don't
down.
know.
Put it on upside down.
Oh yeah, I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Let's see here. It's going upside down.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then but then it can just unclip, and there's no thing.
It doesn't.
Interesting.
No.
So that means the mechanism is actually inside
of the Joy-Con.
Mm-hmm.
So you can. It's not going to show very well, but you can see that little dot up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'll say they found a way to still make that little switch noise in a satisfying way somehow with this thing. So that's cool. I do also like the new kickstand.
Because it's a full kickstand and not just a kickstand,
but
it
actually feels like there's some weight to it.
Yeah. And that makes more sense. And that's cool because then you can actually fold it out even further and actually
it goes all the way back. Look at that.
You could set it down kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing where that's where the memory card will go, kind of like the first one. One thing that's a little bit weird is so when you go to open this to put a game in, instead of pulling I'll show it this way. Instead of pulling it from the front,
Yeah.
It's from the back, but then it has, you'll see here.
Is it easier?
It like holds in.
Okay.
So you pull it out. So you cannot like pull this part out. And then, yeah, it's just like the other game where you just basically flip it in, flip it out, and it's good to go. It has the dual USB-C ports are cool. It has one on the top of the. It needed
it bad.
I think it's very smart. It still has a 3.5 audio jack. You know, iPhones don't have that anymore.
Most devices don't. Yeah.
Most devices don't. I thought that would be something they would get rid of because, you know, a lot of people still use like Bluetooth and stuff. But yeah, so as far as the hardware,
you can't use Bluetooth on it, right?
You can. You can use Bluetooth on the original.
Yeah.
That's how all those like 8-bit do controllers and stuff like.
Oh, that's right.
This controller right here will work with it. So I'll say, as far as the actual unit, this thing here, it feels very of quality. The dock, on the other hand, does not. The dock feels kind of cheap. Like, I don't have it in here, it's in the other room, but like where you put the Switch in, the front flap of it, it's really like you can press it
bouncy
in really
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels kind of cheap. Also, the back of it, like where you plug everything in, remember the original Switch is kind of like a door you open and close?
Yeah.
This is just a panel that easily pulls off, and that feels really loose. And I've seen other people because at first I was like, oh, maybe I got one that's kind of wonky. No, it's like I've seen some people that are just like, I just leave it off. So
I guess at that point, if I probably would. Like, I don't know if there's necessarily a point to leave it on.
It does have a LAN port, like the updated Switch 1 dock. So if you want it to be wired, you technically can. I didn't do that because, again, I'm not playing online the Switch.
Well, that's the kind of thing where, like, if it's near your thing, plug it in, and if it's not, don't worry about it.
I have a Switch behind my TV with Ethernet ports, and I'm out. Like, so between the TV and the PlayStation, and the Xbox, like I'm done. So I looked down, I'm like, this is the one system will be okay.
Doesn't need it.
At
most you're playing
portion
Mario
of it,
Kart. I'm sure that doesn't tax it.
So I'd say like the actual handheld system, it feels incredible quality wise. The dock feels kind of cheap to me. I have warmed up. I think I told you originally when I got the controller felt kind of cheap too compared to the original one. I have warmed up to it more, but it does feel lighter than the original one. So it takes a little getting used to. They also added these like back, kind of like if you have one of those Xbox Elite controllers, you know, have the triggers.
Yeah.
They kind of added 2 of those to the back.
Oh,
of the
they're programmable, aren't they?
Yeah, you can program them. Yeah.
That's cool.
Which is kind of cool. But they come not programmed. So they don't do anything unless you tell them to.
I wonder if that's a thing where like I could program it per
You can program it, as far as I know, you can program it to anything that you want as far as like button press.
But what I'm saying is like, what if for one game I want it to be this, and for one game I want it to be
kind of like
something
you could have
else.
Profiles with the Elite. I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
That'd be interesting.
I'll look into it, but I haven't looked into it yet.
Give us these answers now, Kyle.
Jeez.
You're going to be the Switch 2 expert for the next
couple
have
to be because
years.
nobody else has got one. Yeah, right. Like,
because they're going to have to they're going to have to come out and be like, hey man, Final Fantasy 17 is a Switch 2 exclusive. That's the only thing that'll probably lock me in.
Well, because like I said, I'm looking at email. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get Donkey Kong right away. So we'll see. I have to see. I'd like to see more.
I think they're smart by holding that back like a month, because now it's going to be the kind of thing where everybody's had a Switch 2 for a month and goes, I need something else. I have to. No, I 100%
agree. I agree with that. And like,
it's gonna
Mario
sell
Kart is a very good game to launch it with because there's a lot to do with it, and there's a lot of people that'll be sucked into playing that online for at least a month. Right. So. But you're going to get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm ready for something else that's new for this thing.
Yeah.
I did also see, I have not gotten it yet, but I will. There is a new fast RMX for this system that launched.
Yeah,
digitally.
they showed that off.
15, and it actually looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
I actually ran a couple races of the original on this, which I will say, like, the couple games that I have tested as far as like things that are not getting Switch 2 patches per se. They are upscaled and look better than the original Switch.
That's good.
So like actually decently, like, all right, I can play this on a 4K TV now and feel comfortable about
it. Here's a question.
So,
and I don't think it's true because you haven't run into it, but it brings up a funny story.
Okay.
You haven't run into any incompatibility issues, right? Like maybe let's say
I haven't.
A game published by Limited Run for the Switch.
No, so I don't think I put it in the news, but we can talk about it now because I had forgotten.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of Switch games that are published by Limited Run because for whatever reason it was either that or PS4. But all, like for example, all of those Castlevanias I got on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So if I ever did want to play like that DS collection or the GBA collection, right now they are not playable on the cartridge. Anything Limited Run published as a cartridge is not playable on the Switch too. Now, the rumor that I've heard is because they didn't get a dev kit beforehand, so they haven't had time to test it. But also, you would think like, if these games are working digitally, what's the issue?
My thought would be that whatever they used for cartridges for these systems are not. I'm not saying they're not real, but maybe like not approved.
That's what I was thinking.
Think
too.
about like when you put an ink cartridge
thing. I was gonna say, think about the CDR gate,
or like
ago.
we've proven that they don't put the best quality into like the physical stuff they make.
For
But
sure.
I'm thinking along the lines of like when you replace an ink cartridge in your printer with like a used one or something that was real at one point, but then you put it in your printer and your printer's like, this isn't a real cartridge, and you're like, well, no, it is, but it
kind of feels like that.
It kind of seemed a little bit like that, where it might be real, but it wasn't. The way we loaded our content onto it wasn't like it wasn't Nintendo approved or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something
Exactly.
about that. Or Nintendo updated something for the Switch 2 in terms of like how it reads software, and there's just never had that before.
I can see that.
Yeah, because they were all burned CDR Switch cartridges.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. To be fair, most of those Limited Run things I have for the Switch are sealed anyways. I'm not going to open them right now, but
even if I had,
I have them digitally, so
I only think I ever opened like 3 or 4 of them.
I have. What was wasn't the first game they did for the Switch like Thimbleweed Park?
I have that one, and that is open. I did play that.
I left mine sealed.
Yeah.
So,
but for a while when they were doing it, I was buying a bunch of them, like Golf Story and
I never got Golf Story. I got
Hook.
Time Spinner. I got
and
Flip Hook.
Night Trap, of course.
Night Trap. I think I did do Night Trap eventually on there because of the irony.
Right. Because it's just like how.
Because remember originally
this game would end up on here.
Well, remember originally when that was back in the day before they did the open pre-orders, and you had to get when the original version of Night Trap came out.
It was like, if you're not here,
and I got
it one, you don't get it.
So when they put it up for the Switch, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll get it for the Switch, and it'll be ironic." So
I used it to get like some other ones that were kind of like weird one-off things, like the Panzer Dragoon, like collector's thing, where it's in a Saturn-shaped box. That's just a cool one to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if I was someone who bought a ton of those and played them, I'd be kind of pissed off.
A little mad.
Yeah.
A little upset. But it's like I said, it's fine. Those are games I'm not gonna like try to play right now, anyways.
What's the next thing that like is confirmed for it that you actually give a shit about? Like Metroid Prime, probably. Probably
Metroid Prime. Yeah, I actually want to sit down. That is high on the list right now. Like of all the games I'm looking at, as far as my backlog, like for whatever reason, Metroid Dread's the one that keeps calling me. So that's probably what I'm going to play. But probably Metroid Prime 4 would be like the next like for sure shoe-in game that I would get for it.
You know what I would like to see on that too? And if you have it and if you haven't played it, I'd like to see Link's Awakening on that.
Yeah, I have to look at that. So I have to look at that because I know that
had slowdown problems on.
So that game they didn't do like a pay for it patch, but it does have a like updated patch, kind of like I don't know if you saw Mario Odyssey has a 4K 60 patch.
That's cool.
So, which is kind of crazy.
For a game
some
that
of
already
those
looks
games,
like unbelievable in terms of a Mario game.
Great, yeah, incredible.
It still
so,
does.
But yeah,
but Link's Awakening is one I'd really like to see.
I want to look at, and then I would assume Echoes of Wisdom because it runs on the same engine probably has some of the same issues.
Yeah, because that game has a problem because since you can create things.
Yeah, that's gonna.
I think I told you when I was playing it. I need to go actually finish it. When you started to delete stuff, the game would kind of like freak out because I think I remember right. There's a button where you can delete everything at once.
Yes,
and I'm sure in terms of like a memory thing for the Switch, it's like oh shit kind of a thing.
I did watch that modern vintage gamer guy on YouTube that he does like a lot of breakdowns and stuff. That guy did confirm when you do video on Game Chat, the video runs at 15 frames per second. So
15 from what I've seen, 15 seems generous.
It seems generous.
Yeah.
So, but again, like I watched it, they praise the quality of the actual audio chat and stuff. Just like talking to people and playing games is fine. Yeah. So,
how many of these people are using blenders 2 feet behind them though?
I was gonna say, like, weird in 2025 they roll out a feature from 2005. So it's a little weird, but I like overall, like I think I've said this. I haven't done a video on the channel yet. I will. But I think overall I've said, like, for me, obviously I've enjoyed it. I don't regret my purchase, but I have so many games to play for the dumb thing that it doesn't affect me.
Right.
But if I was the average person out there and I've spent the last 8 years playing everything that's come out for the Switch, you can probably wait another year and get one when there's maybe 2 or 3 other games than Mario Kart.
Right.
Unless you're a diehard Mario Kart person and like you have to play that new Mario Kart today, for the price it is, and for only really having that as a new game, because the only other new game is the Welcome Tour, which I refuse to buy.
Yeah.
And the Fast Remix thing I will buy, but there isn't anything else really new except for patches for older games. And like I said, if you're a Nintendo person and this is what you've been doing the last 8 years, you've probably already beaten Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom multiple times. So unless you really want to see it look and play better, I don't think the cost of entry is worth it for that. So, but as far as like an upgrade, like I would liken it more to a Switch Pro than a Switch 2, like the next Nintendo.
Well, even when you just kind of showed like the screen for a second, that's just a Switch interface.
It looks identical. The only thing I'll show you. This will be the one thing that'll make you happy. When's the last time you load up the eShop on the Nintendo Switch?
I did it not too long ago, but it's so fucking slow that I hate doing it.
All right, yeah. We'll do this in real time. No, I do not want to return to that. All right, we'll do it in real time. So I'm gonna go. I'm trying to do this backwards. Yeah. We're gonna go down to the eShop here.
Yeah.
If I click it, it's gonna pop up. Bam! We're already on the eShop.
That's a lot faster because the other one.
So it takes forever because you have to use that to do that system transfer. It took forever to do that. So I had seen kind of the pre-release people talking about, like, man, the eShop's so much better on this thing, and so that was one of the first things I wanted to try.
You're like me, we're like on the PlayStation. Sometimes I just like to scroll through the shop and just kind of see what's going on.
I like to scroll through the shop.
The PlayStation 1 is quick and
it's quick.
Yeah.
I just like seeing the crazy shit on there.
Sometimes it takes a second to load a thumbnail, but the Nintendo one, it was just like it's not even fun to even look through.
No, it gets bogged down. It can literally freeze on a page, and you're just like, I guess I'm done. So, that's what I would say about the Switch 2 overall. Is like, I think it's worth it. Either if you're a diehard Nintendo person, you have to have it day one, or you really like Mario Kart. Otherwise, I'd say for like the average Switch person, I'd probably give it like maybe wait and see what's going on like around Christmas time. Because I still feel like there's going to be one other game we don't know about that will be announced.
Oh, they'll do another direct in 3 months where they're like October whatever it's this, November whatever it's this. There'll probably be 2 more games.
I think so
by holiday, not including Metroid. Metroid has been announced for so long, and it's going to be on regular Switch that's like that's not a Switch 2 announcement. There's going to be probably 2 more things.
I think so.
They have for it.
I think so.
What those are, who the hell knows? But
no, I couldn't tell you. The other big thing that I finished Doom: The Dark Ages. I would say it's an 8 out of 10. I think of the 3 games, it is the weakest story, but it is better combat. I think Eternal has the worst combat. I think this is better. But I understand people that don't like the combat of this game because it is more grounded. You're holding a shield. that looks kind of goofy when you, because like I don't know if you've seen gameplay of it, but like when the enemies are throwing like red fireballs at you, but some of them are green, and then you can deflect the green ones back. Like that looks a little goofy. But so I can understand criticisms of it, and I think I still think neither of those games are as good as 2016. I think that game's a masterpiece of a Doom game. But this one, it dives into silly territory, but I think the last third of it, story-wise, kind of makes up for its silliness. Somehow they found a way to make your buddy, the Doomslayer, harder than he's ever been in this game.
Oh.
By the end of it, like, so, and it does. I will say, like, too, like, as somebody, like, I'm not a huge like person that's into the lore of Doom, but they kind of have planted these seeds in the other two games of like he's kind of more of a mythical person at this point. They fully explain why he's a mythical person in this game.
Okay. So
by the end of it, you understand that. So, and it does tie into some of the codex stuff and stuff that you picked up in the other games. So they did, it's not like they just wrote this out of their ass. Like they did kind of seem like they did have a background roadmap to make this game. So it makes sense, especially the way Eternal ends. It was kind of like one of those, like, it reminded me of Saints Row 4 where it's like, I don't know where you go from here. Okay, a prequel makes sense. It's either prequel or reboot at that point. So I enjoyed it. The one thing I will tell you that I did not know until I beat the game, and this is important if you're a trophy person or an achievement person, you can play this game on the easiest difficulty and mess with all the sliders, and it does not affect achievements.
That's cool.
So you can make it 200% speed. You can make all the enemy attacks basically do nothing and run through the game like God mode style if you want to, and just slaughter.
Wild.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If you really want to. Like I played it on whatever the normal difficulty was. Like I said, I didn't discover this until I finished the game. I was like, oh, I could have done this the whole time. Like, because I ran through a level after I beat it like that. Like, it is ridiculous how absurd that is. So it's also not, even putting that, like, it's not a hard game if you want 1,000 in it or get a platinum in it. It's just collecting stuff and beating the game. So there's not that much to collect. They did talk, like, before that game came out, like, oh, we have different puzzles. All the puzzles are basically moving crates around. So like standard Doom stuff.
Simple.
I didn't find anything in the game being like, wow, this is a, challenging puzzle. It's not. And like I said, the easiest I could compare it to, it's like the Army of Darkness of this trilogy of games. So I enjoyed it. At some point I'll probably run through it again, knowing that I can do that now and just clean up the game and have it done. But I was happy to finish that game and be done with it. So now I have 2 weeks I can mess around with Switch and do some Switch stuff, and then Death Stranding. So which I'm,
and then you won't pick it back up again.
What's up?
And then you won't pick it up again until like next year.
Oh, the Switch. I will probably be stuck on Death Stranding for probably a month, I would say. Seems like that game's going to be pretty lengthy. So, but I'm kind of like, I'm on kind of media blackout on that game now. I don't need to know more.
No reason to.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple like videos about like what they're doing with the engine of that game, and like it looks insane. That game looks visually insane.
Oh, it does.
Like, how is this running on a standard PS5? Insane. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's my next like really big game. So probably the next time we record, I'll be talking about some of these other Switch stuff that I've been playing, because that's what I'm going to dive into now. And then yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about the misery of Saints Row, and I will say
that? I blacked it out if we did.
I will say, because I was thinking about this day, because I was talking with a buddy of like, boy, this generation's been really disappointing. What would you even point to be like what you would consider maybe a like best game of the generation thus far? And honestly,
of the PS5
for me,
generation,
of this generation, PS5, Series X,
the best
and
game.
I don't know if you agree with me, but from the more that we play it, I really honestly, one of the games I put in that list is Space Marine 2.
Yeah,
I've had so much fun with that.
The game's just good. Like,
it's just good. It's just like endless Gears of War almost.
Fun to play. Like everything about it feels good. It's hard.
Yeah,
like you have to get better, and you have to level up, upgrade to progress.
Stuff, yeah.
Like, yeah, I just like that game. If
it looks incredible,
we've
visually,
talked about it a lot, but like it's definitely one of those games where like I can't find a single thing I don't like about it.
No, and it's made me more interested. Like I always had an interest in that whole like that lore and all that stuff, but like it's given me more interest in it.
Yeah, and I'm into enough other stuff as
really
it
cool.
is. So Warhammer just always seemed like that's a lot to try to get into because there's so many games. They're all different kinds of stuff. But it's like now that we've played this, like when 3 comes out, we're getting 3 right away.
Oh no,
we're playing
in
3.
day one. Yeah,
and like they just gave away that bolt gun game for free. I'll probably mess around with that.
Have you not played that?
No, I haven't played it yet.
It's one of the boomer shooter.
Yeah.
It's like Doom.
Yeah,
that game's really good. They're making a sequel to it.
Yeah,
too.
Well, that's the thing with Warhammer. It's like there's so many of these games. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe I would put that somewhere in that.
The only other game I could come up with that I would put in that category for me would be Alan Wake 2. But you haven't played Alan Wake 2 yet.
No, I got to do that. The game
it's not neck and neck with Control. I think it's just a little bit lower than Control. But that game was tremendous.
Yeah,
so,
and if I'm thinking of like
it's
game
been a
of the
weird
generation, just as like a quick offshoot thing, like Rebirth comes to mind. Just
would it be
like,
too early for you to say something like Clair Obscur?
No, and that's the other thing is I was going to say is like that is. I mean, are you done talking about what you've played? Because we can just roll it. Because I've been playing more.
We can roll into you.
So let's talk more about it. Because I finally went back and I'm like, we're going to finish the end game stuff. And I've been done with the story for a while, and the end game there's a lot to do. I keep finding stuff. Like it's crazy. Like I found multiple places I've never even been to before.
In a $50 game.
In a $50 game.
Put that out there.
I keep finding stuff. And like I keep finding new abilities and unlocking new things and leveling up weapons and finding more stuff to do. Like the game is just like what I'm now doing is I did most of the cleanup in terms of collectibles.
Okay.
I have to do there's 3 dungeons left, I guess you would call them.
Okay.
I'm working on what I would consider to be so there's like a tower where it's just like you do these fights kind of in order, which are just it's kind of like a greatest hits of all the other ones you've fought before.
Okay.
I got about 2/3 of the way done with that before I kind of hit a wall. So it's like, all right, I have to go level up and come back. But then I went and found, I'd never found it before. I found what's the second hardest dungeon in the game, which is essentially a dungeon where it breaks into 4 parts and you have to go through these 4 areas and they're kind of like refighting all these bosses from before, but they're harder. So I've done like half of that. And then there's of course there's a boss at the end of that. And then, then there's one final like super dungeon with like this super boss. But that's just like, I love this game so much, man. Like
what are you at level wise?
81. You have to get to 99, which from what I've read, it's a grind at towards the end, but you kind of need to be super high to face the final boss.
Okay.
Because that's just what the game wants you to do. But
okay.
Yeah, so I'd like it, but I keep exploring the map and finding new things, and I have to fight pretty much everything because one guy has to learn skills from everybody, so I'm just fighting everything I can. I finally beat this one boss that I ran into really early on that kicked my ass. So I finally went back to him and kicked his ass. Yeah, man, that game just the more I think about it, like the more you want to talk about like game of the generation. This is a really good like entry for that, just because. Okay. I was excited for it from the moment they announced it, but like it kind of came out of nowhere. It's a quote unquote budget title, but quality wise, it's one of the best things I've played in probably a decade.
Like I said, it was of that showcase it was the Xbox showcase last year where they showed a lot of cool stuff off, but like that was one I remember picking out right away and be like, that looks like something really cool.
Yeah. And the more they just even showed like screenshots of it, it was like, what is this game? And then it's
after Death Stranding game.
Yeah, and it's just
so
it's a lot of stuff. Like the characters, the music. I told you the story hooked me. I had to know the story. And it's by the time you finish it, I will say it's not cliche, but it's kind of typical RPG ending, which I've seen done in other ways before.
Sure.
But it still was satisfying for the story it was telling. Man, it's a bummer to me because this is, I guess it's not a spoiler. You can't make a sequel to it.
No, that we were kind of discussing. Like, I would assume they probably just do something different RPG wise.
You could DLC part of it.
They say how long this took them to make. Was it 5 years?
I don't remember.
Okay,
it was shorter.
It was shorter amount of time than your typical like AAA game. So,
but if they can keep this team together and keep these people, if that guy has any other ideas cooking, sold.
Yeah,
I'll buy whatever they want whenever they want.
At the success that this game had, they won't have any problem finding investors for whatever their next thing is.
Yeah.
This thing is so popular, and the thing about this game, it's not just popular in terms of like critically or like on Twitch or whatever. Like, it's everywhere. It's all over Instagram. Like, it is everywhere. And the music, the soundtrack is incredible. And there's not a single thing I don't like about it. Maybe if you had to push me, the platforming is kind of weak, and there's 2 places you have to do it.
Yeah,
and so that can be kind of frustrating. But what I learned from finishing the first of those challenges was just fucking run for it. Like, I was trying to take my time and be careful and, can I make this jump? And I kept making mistakes. And then finally I was like, I'm just going to fucking do it and let's see what happens. Yeah. And I aced it. So I was like, all right. So the trick is to just like trust yourself and just do it. Oh. And then now that I know that, it's not as bad looking back. But just fantastic game. I should probably have it done by the time because, like I said, just clean up left. But the other new thing I started playing was our physical copies of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reader's Rewind showed up. I have to give that to you still. It's exactly what it is. Like, it's, I'm not going to pretend it's something special. It's like the Turtles game, or it's like that Marvel one that's coming up. It's not made by
online though, right?
Co-op? Yes, it is.
Okay,
cool. It is. It's not made by the same people, but it's like those. The only thing I don't like about it is I get that it's 4-player co-op. You couldn't have done 5.
Yeah,
like, because you can just join other people's games. So like, you could have done 5, right? You could have, but I've only played through probably the first. I would say like 5-6 levels. It's got a storyline that involves time travel and all this kind of stuff, but they work it into the show. There's voice acting in parts. Like, it's perfectly fine. I do have a gripe with it in terms of the physical edition. I told you about this, and I'm going to show it off here. Like the collectors. So I got the fancy one because it came with the steelbook.
Oh, dope!
And the steelbook's pretty cool. I love steelbooks in general. It's got cool stuff inside. It's got, little cards about all of them, which is neat. It's got this cool, who knows how well this will show up, but it's got a lenticular.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that is dope.
Just cool little things. The inside of the case is pretty cool. You got his symbol, and you got Dragonzord there. But gee, that's weird. Where does the disc go in the case? There's no place to put the disc.
That's a bummer.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So it came in a bigger box, where it has this case and the regular case.
Yeah.
But what I do when I get those kind of things, I take the game out of the regular case, put it in these, and I put this on the shelf, and I put the other thing away. Because I like to see these on the shelf. Where the fuck does the disc go?
I can't do that with this.
When I first opened it, I was like, oh, that's odd. Maybe it's on this side. Because, in some old steelbooks, and remember
Xbox One
switched it to the other side, took that stuff out. No, it's not there. Oh, this is dumb as shit. Okay. Like, why? I hate it. It's just another sign that, like, this game probably was never meant to exist physically. What steelbook can we crank out? Here you go. And then they finally were like, oops, I guess it doesn't have a thing in it.
It seems like one of those things where they had to make the decision, like, well, it'll cost X amount more to put that in the steel case.
I don't even think they even thought about it. It comes in a box with a regular case, but it's like, this is pointless then. This doesn't go on. How can I put this on the shelf? It's stupid. So there's that. I played that. The only other thing I did is we were talking about it where we got that thing where it's like upgrading to extra and premium was on sale, and it's prorated because my thing does it in November. So it was like, to get premium, it would be like, I think it was like $28 for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be less for you. For me, it was like $40. But then we both justified it for a specific reason.
Well, I did it for 2 reasons. Like, so we're gonna play FBC Firebreak when it comes out,
Well, yeah, that's next
on
week.
there. That's $40. So I'm already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really wanted to play Blueprints, which is on there too. So, all right, fine. This is a no-brainer to kind of do this.
I'll just cancel it when it gets to that point again.
Yeah, and I'll just cancel when it comes up again because I don't need it. So I've been playing Blueprints a little bit. I will say that I like it. I don't know if I have found the hook of it yet.
Okay.
Because it's a very, I guess, like on the surface, an easy puzzle game.
My understanding I've heard is it takes a little bit to get to like what the hook of that
there
game
must
is.
Be something I haven't done yet. Because you play through like days of it where you build out the rooms and like you go to a door and you get a random assortment of rooms and you can build stuff and then like rooms do different things and all this stuff. But if that's truly how I'm playing it is truly all it is, then it's random. And that doesn't feel like a good puzzle game if it's entirely based on random chance.
Oh, yeah.
So I must be missing something. Maybe I'm not, and maybe just this isn't going to click for me the way most stuff does. But, every review was like, oh, once you finally get it, it's good.
My understanding is it has like a Fez type thing where all of a sudden you get like some extra layer of it, and then it's like,
and I've seen hints at that. Okay. Because you play through a day, and then when you're out of places to put rooms, the day you start over, and it's like day 3. So some of the rooms I've played so far are like, oh, special thing on day 9, or this happens at this time if this room is connected. So there has to be a deeper level to it, because otherwise it's just random. And if it is, then that's not what I'm into.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm only on like day 7 or something.
Okay.
Because I played it for like 2 nights, but I'm waiting for the hook. There's got to be a hook somewhere. But
the one other thing I'll mention, and we'll jump to you, Matt, because I forgot, is I played the demo for, and the only reason I remember is because it's a beat 'em up game like the Power Rangers game. I played the demo for the Terrifier arcade game.
Oh.
Because I did reserve. I'll say this quietly. I did reserve the collector's edition for my fiance. So, she does not know that yet, but I want to try it. It's fine. It's exactly what you think it is. I honestly thought it would go harder violent wise, considering like the source material. And it is violent, but I'd say it's more cutesy violent, like one of those kind of beat 'em ups. I've not tried playing the game with her like split screen, because you can play as whatever. I don't know the characters' names. I know there's the clown, and then there's the like demon lady or whatever that he slashed up. She's one of the playable characters, and then the kid from the second movie, the clown kid, is one of the playable characters as well. So, but it's literally just you run around the streets killing a bunch of cops and firemen for some reason. I don't remember that being a big part, at least the first movie, but that's the only one I've seen. So I will say the music's very good. So, very 80s synthy music for that game. So, but I hope there's more to it. Like when it comes out, it seems kind of like it's like it's an all right one of those, but I've played better of those types of games. Like if you want to compare it to like the Turtles game, or like I would assume the Power Rangers one's probably better than it, but we'll see when it comes out. So I am obligated to play it when it comes out. So I'll have more to say on it when it releases. But there's a demo on PS5 and the Switch, but oddly enough, not the Xbox.
There's one on Steam too. I just added it to my library.
Because oddly enough, the reason I did it is because like she primarily plays on the Xbox at this point, and so it'll probably be the last physical game I buy on the Xbox.
It reminds me a lot of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, it kind of has vibes of that too. Like, so I'd say like it kind of feels like that type. It's like Scott Pilgrim, the Turtles game, like any of those like left to right beat 'em up games. That's what it feels like. So, your little like move when you knock an enemy down is he pulls out his gun and shoots him in the head. Their head explodes. So it's, but it's done in a cutesy way.
This game is wild.
Yeah, so it's not bad. It's fine. It's fine for what it is. I can see Terrifier fans like enjoying it. So
yeah.
What about you, Matt? What have you been playing?
I kind of dove into a lot of randomness Funny enough, when we recorded last time, I did buy Onimusha. However, I forgot to say anything on it because I didn't really start it. Like, I just kind of like loaded it up, and that was really all I did.
Yeah.
But I did get further into it now. I think I'm probably like 2.5, 3 hours into it, I think. I mean, it's Onimusha. It's a great game. I still think it's a great game. Plays well. The one thing I will say, I mean, it's a lot smoother.
Probably than it originally was when it came out.
Yeah. It looks good. It's just, the only thing that bugs me the most is that the like camera shots in it still reflect the original game. And I hate sometimes like when you're moving and it's
talking about like the tank camera.
Yeah, I hate that.
Okay.
But it's understandable. It's just a remaster, so it's not like
tank controls and tank cameras are a very specific taste today.
Yeah. But it's still enjoyable. Like it's I kind of remember. It's funny because I kind of remember a lot more than I thought I did, and I haven't played that game in like years upon years. Yeah. Other than that, it's a solid play. I mean, it's the fourth game I've bought this year.
Okay.
So
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean, hey, we're halfway in the year, and I'm only 4 games down. I'm going good until like Black Friday right now, so I'm solid.
Yo, you gotta save up. You gotta save up till then.
You gotta save up.
Trying to save up, man. Trying to save up.
Splurge. Yeah.
But I really like it. Still enjoy it. It's still a lot of fun.
Do you think they go as far as to remaster 3 at this point? I would assume they want to do the whole trilogy.
Honestly, I don't understand. Well, I mean, I guess they already did 1.
They did 1. I actually reinstalled it on the PS4 or on the PS5. So at some point I'll look at it again because it's been a while.
I would think they would do 3. Maybe
I don't think it would come out before this new one, though.
I was gonna say I think maybe they'll wait to see what this new one does first before they decide to release 3. Because if this new one doesn't hit like they're hoping it does, then maybe
I don't think it's gonna hit at the level of like Resident Evil or Monster Hunter or anything.
But I feel like
but I think it'll do well.
I feel like Onimusha is one of those games where it's like you have your fan base that like enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like for me, when I saw the second one, I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and grab it. I was originally going to think about buying the first one, but I was like, nah, I really don't want to. You know, I just wasn't really feeling it. But I was like, the second one's a solid one, so I went ahead and grabbed that. And then, of course, with the new one coming out, I'm like, okay, well, now I'm like really back into it. So let's just go ahead and just get all the way down. But yeah, I find myself right now in kind of a difficult boss fight. It's a fucking spider dude with I forgot what his name is called, but he's a pain in the ass. And he's just like running back and forth throughout the screen. So it's just like I had to like stop myself. And I was like, I gotta take a break. I gotta take a moment. I've died 14 times on this guy. And then it asks you, like, it likes to belittle me. And it's like, you think you want to go to the easy mode for this one? And I'm like, nah, don't treat me like I'm a chump.
Yeah.
But then, like, so kind of getting out of there, I decided to play something kind of doesn't use a lot of brain power. And I jumped into Balatro.
Okay.
And
Dan's big.
Yeah, I played a lot more of that too.
It's fun, man. Like I was actually kind of shook. I definitely am like a newbie in that game because I haven't made it past like the 4th ante, I think.
Okay.
I get to like almost hitting 4 and then I keep dying. So I'm just like, all right, well I got to find a new strategy for this game. But I told my wife the other day, like I was playing Oni and I kind of got frustrated, so I turned it off and I jumped into that because you guys were talking about it. And then like it was like 1:00 in the morning and it was almost 3:00 in the morning when I was still playing that game. And I was like, I got to take my ass to bed before I wake up at 6 and I'm like, got to go to work the next day. So yeah, I can see where that game kind of catches you.
It gets addicting.
It does.
For sure.
Also, since I got my Switch back, I started playing Pikmin 3 to kind of get through it because, you know, my son we got to like level like or day 16 And then he kept deleting our game. So I was like, I'm done with you, man. I can't play this game with you. So I jumped in. So now I decided to jump into that since I have my Switch now. I played this new battle royale game called Off the Grid. Interesting concept. So like your person has like robot arms, like cyborg arms and cyborg legs. And as you go throughout the map, you can pick up other limbs that do different things.
Okay.
It was very interesting when I jumped into it. Yeah. I'm gonna try and play a little more of it to kind of see what it's like. But so far it was a pretty solid battle royale game.
It's a unique concept, at least.
Yeah, it really did throw me off when I jumped into it, because like I saw my character and I was like, oh well, I guess that's just everybody looks like the same person. And then they threw me into the world, and like I opened up a loot crate and like there was an arm, and I was like, what the shit is going on? And it's like, oh, this is a grenade launcher. And I was like, okay. And then like as you kind of get through it, like you can pick up legs that also like are like jetpacks, and like it's just a really interesting concept, which is kind of cool, because like I don't think it's like anything really big right now.
Okay.
I want to say like it's kind of like in the very beginning stages of anything. But then that kind of goes into Fortnite, dropped a new season, and both of my kids have been like really into it right now.
They're trying to get Superman?
Yeah, they're trying to get Superman. Robin is in the game right now, and like he's like, nah, I feel so bad because Robin is like such a worthless character. Like
I'm sure didn't I see something like they're adding Bob Belcher and like
there's a
Cleveland
lot going on.
And who is the person? Isn't it just Hank Hill?
Yeah, it is. It's for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense now.
They're doing a lot with that game when it comes to like those kind of things. But I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's Fortnite. It's still kind of it is like my older son's like really into it, and then even though he gets mad and he's like, I don't like that game. The game's stupid. He plays it all day, every day. It's like, dude, why are you talking shit? You know you really love that game. Then I decided to, when we were on the stream last time, I looked up Hosey to kind of see, I believe this, Hosey, Cozy with an H. And
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and ironically, when we were talking about it, there was a playtest available on Steam. So I went ahead and downloaded it and jumped into it. It's a lot. It's essentially just a cleaner version of that unpacking game I played a while back. It's good. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna say anything's wrong with it. It's kind of got an aesthetically pleasing like click to it. You know, like when you're like just clicking around and it's like attaching things to the wall. You're like, I can kind of dig on this. But yeah, I don't know when it drops, and so
when I looked, it was like August, like the end of August or beginning of August.
I wanted to say I thought the same thing too. So
August 7th, maybe.
I don't know, man. Like maybe it'll fall into my Black Friday.
There you
games to buy, but oh no, release date says to be announced still. Haven't really released. But yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun when I played it. All in all, yeah, that's all I've jumped into. I guess I'm gonna try to run that the Terrifier game.
You should try it. Yeah, it's worth trying.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump into it tonight, just depending on what we get.
It's not a lengthy demo. So.
I didn't think so.
No, but it's just giving you a taste of the game. So
yeah, but that's me. We jump into news. We
can kick over to news because there's been a lot. We've been through the E3 not E3 time of the year. And this might be where we get a little controversial because
is it?
I think you'd be surprised.
Are we talking about Borderlands again?
We're not going to say there's a clear winner or a clear loser, I guess, but there's definitely like a shift this year in terms of like who had a better show.
Yeah.
I would argue there's a clear winner and a clear loser, but
when we get to one of them, like there's a very clear loser. So we're gonna go in order as these aired. So PlayStation, Sony, they went first. they had for, I think, the first time, I would argue the first time this generation, a banger state of play. Like an actual, like, from beginning to end, there was a lot shown that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Than there has been in the past.
I would say, like, percentage-wise, I was interested in far more games in this
than the other two showcases.
Than a showcase I've seen in a long time, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
There was stuff like as we go through them, it's just like, just go ahead and read down.
I'll go ahead and start. So it opened with Illumina's Arise, which is made from the people that made Tetris Effect. So that was literally how it opened.
Yeah.
Like nobody would have ever guessed that was
no.
What they're gonna open
like
with,
I love Luminous, such a great puzzle game, but like I never would have thought we'd get another one just because it never really seemed like it was
right.
I guess popular enough to get another one, but like I'm excited for that.
Capcom brought back Pragmata, which I'm excited about. It's real.
A game.
They actually had to, like, at the end of that trailer, like we're sorry or whatever thing, like, fade and then have like 2026.
I think it looks good.
Real.
It looks
good. It's a real game.
Yeah.
I will say it is the only game at this showcase that specifically highlighted the footage was being shown on a PS5 Pro, which I thought was interesting. Suda 51 has a new game that I think looks cool. But it's a Suda 51 game. It's wild.
It also just gave me very big, like it's no more heroes, but it's not.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe.
Romeo is a dead man.
We have finished No More Heroes. We're gonna turn it into something else.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Lollipop Chainsaw is kind of a No More Heroes game too. Like they all have the same flow and function, but that's not a bad thing. It's his game. If you like his games, you like his games. If you don't,
you'll be into it.
Yeah.
Silent Hill F got a release date of September 25th. Spoiler right now, a lot of September release dates in this showcase. So Silent Hill F is coming out September 25th. The game still looks fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that.
Really creepy.
Really creepy. Yeah, like they're really bringing the creep factor in on that
like
one.
it.
I like that a lot. Yeah. So
it reminds me more of like PS2 era like horror games where they really lean into like the Japanese style shit, and that stuff would always get
way creepy.
Way crazy.
I think a Fatal Frame.
Siren, like
Siren is a good one too.
Siren's not a great game, but like the concept of it is
pretty creepy.
Pretty fucked up. Yeah.
One of my favorite surprise announcements of the showcase, the Bloodstain. It's a prequel. It's not a sequel. Bloodstain prequel, Bloodstain: The Scarlet Engagement looks awesome.
Looks very good.
We did confirm after it is not a 2-player game. You're playing as 2 characters at the same time, which is a bummer.
I thought about it too, is like, and we were texting each other, and like it kind of looks like it, but it really looked more like you were at most swapping back and forth.
Yeah. It kind of seems like, but hey, whatever. I've been waiting for a Bloodstain.
Speaking of that, like you realize like that Castlevania thing's on the premium thing, and we can go back, right?
Which one are you talking about?
The multiplayer Castlevania HD thing?
It is, but it's streaming only. It's a PS3 game.
Oh, that's right. Maybe
that's
talked
what kills
about it before. Yeah.
That kills it. Yeah. You want to play an online multiplayer game through a stream?
We should try it though, right?
Should we try it?
We should try it.
It is?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll try it.
I'll install. It's
that game
or not
is
even
incredible.
Install to stream. Yeah, I love that game. It's fun.
Digimon Story Time Stranger, which like I'm not a big Digimon person, but I think the game looks cool.
Man, I'm pissed. There's a $130 version of that game. I'm probably gonna end up buying.
October 3rd.
It's got a season pass and like all kinds of extra content, all that stuff.
Another banger announcement from the showcase: Final Fantasy Tactics Remastered.
We did it. The one
September 30th.
The one that needed to be remade got remade,
and it is what we wanted it to be when we were talking about it the last podcast episode. It's like it's not a full like crazy 3D remake. It's exactly what you want it to be.
And it's got classic and remastered mode. Like it is what it should be. That game didn't need to be touched. It needed to just be able to be played on this system.
The Weird Baby Steps game that's been shown with like the last like 8 showcases finally has a release date September 8th.
Weird.
I'm not sure who that's for.
Not at all.
Probably Twitch people to stream it.
Yeah, I was about to say. As soon as I saw it, I thought it was
a streaming game.
Yeah.
I don't remember this Hirogami game, but maybe that was shown very quickly. That's out September 3rd. Another big one here, Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. I love the play on the title alone there.
Well,
September 5th.
Because it's been known as both in multiple countries across the world for decades, but those are always
looks
so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that looks awesome. I didn't realize. So, like, I think what's the other franchise that's getting another one of these too? And I'm getting them confused because they announced Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is a 2D Ninja Gaiden game,
right?
But there was that other one that got announced. I think at like an Xbox showcase or something.
What was it? I know what you're talking about. It's
and I can't think of it's the other one. And that's where I got these two games confused because that comes out in August. This is out July 31st.
This game looks incredible.
The game looks cool. No, it looks good. That mountain climbing adventure game, Karn, November 5th.
Yeah, and that was just another game where I watched it and went, yeah, okay. That one didn't get to me as much because it's kind of whatever.
But are you in on the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection?
I mean, yes and no. I don't like the internet seems to be like
they seem
this is
very
the greatest fucking thing that's ever
they are
happened.
into okay. I thought they were down.
From what I've seen, people love it, but to me, I don't need another thing of like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 again. I'm more interested in why can't we get playable versions of like 5 and 6?
Why can't we get those
the
PS2 era? Yeah,
that's the era I want. I don't need the Super Nintendo to Dreamcast era. I want the PS2 era, 5, 6, 7, and if you could give me 5, 6, 7 like that trilogy and Shaolin Monks in a package, I'm sold immediately. But
no, I agree. I mean, I will get that. I mean, I'm not
the kind of thing where like if it ends up at like 20, 30 bucks at some point, it'd be hard not to get it.
Sony announced their own official fight stick, which I mean, that's cool for the fighting game fans.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a big fighting game person outside of like Mortal Kombat, but
it's weird to me it hasn't existed until now.
Yeah, it is a little weird. Usually it's been like what Hori's usually the big So, but that's cool still regardless. Metal Gear Solid I always forget to call it Delta Snake Eater. Got another trailer here. We've known the release date for a while is August 28th. I am looking forward to playing that remake of it. One of the like more popular, like I think when I looked up after one of the most popular trailers, which surprises me from this showcase because I am in no way into this franchise at all. I had forgotten that we've even made it this far, but Neo 3 was announced for I think like early next year.
Hey, do you like samurai games? Here's another one.
Exactly, like this thing is like it's another samurai game.
Like shit.
So
like there's a lot
making a lot of those right now, right? They had a brief VR2. I will give Sony credit at this showcase. They did not spend their, obligatory 10 minutes on VR and like have a ton of indie games here that people maybe not care about. They seem to really keep it to a minimum. But they did have VR stuff here. They had Thief VR, which I thought it was funny. We're resurrecting that franchise in VR. There was this weird, it almost reminded me of like a funky version of Sea of Thieves, this Tides of Tomorrow game. That they showed. It's an asynchronous multiplayer game where each player's experience will impact other players running through the world. I don't know. Like I looked at it as like a mix of Sea of Thieves and like Journey, is what it kind of seems like.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm not the audience for that game. Is what I would say. Like I looked at it and said it's not for me. Astrobot's getting 5 new challenge levels. They've been consistently releasing those. They're also bringing back that controller, but it has like it's like a different version of it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be something slightly different.
A little bit different, but that controller was incredibly popular. Sea of Remnants was another game that was shown. Also kind of a Sea of Thieves vibe to it.
This game
but this is more
also it's free to play.
Oh, it is.
It's one of those kind of things. So I wouldn't put too much stock into it other than
not too excited about it.
It's a Sea of Thieves ripoff that's like a free to play kind of a thing where maybe when it comes out I give it a shot because you know me, I play all that crap. But
from the people that made Abzu and the Pathless, their next game, Sword of the Sea, is coming out. It looks okay.
Boy,
Journey-ish.
That guy just makes the same game, doesn't he?
Right?
Yeah, like not that that's bad, but it's just it's the same game.
We talk about what I think you and I could probably collectively agree would be the banger of the showcase.
Banger of the weekend.
Okay.
It wasn't even close. Like nothing else is close. For you, there's one.
For me, there's one other.
But I would argue
this is a close second for me.
I would argue this has more potential than the one you
because we don't know everything about that.
Right.
Whereas we know a lot more about this now. But we finally got our first real look at the James Bond game from the makers of Hitman 007 First Light. It is
incredible.
Exactly what I would want.
Incredible.
It to be, right?
It's exactly what it should be.
It is. We're not basing him on any kind of movie Bond at all. It's just his origins. It looks incredible.
He gets to be visually his own character. We get to play out the story the way we want to do it. It can go anywhere we want.
You can see the Hitman like footprint of all this entire game, right?
But in the best way possible, because when they announced that they were making it, if you thought about like who would you want to do this, or what would you want a Bond game to be? Yeah. After we've gone through we had the PS2 era run of Agent Under Fire, Nightfire. Those are good for what they are because they were more of GoldenEye coming into current thing at the time. And then they changed it to Everything or Nothing, which is, essentially a James Bond movie they made for a game.
Yeah, no, that game is
great game. But then after that franchise tanked off. They did that weird GoldenEye Rogue Agent game. That game sucked.
The game sucks.
Bad. They couldn't
bad.
They did what? Quantum Solace is fine. Quantum Solace is fine.
From Russia.
But that's PS2 era though. I'm going forward into
Rogue Agent was bad.
Rogue Agent was bad.
Yeah.
They did that Legends thing. Terrible
game.
Quantum Solace was good because it was made by the guys who made Call of Duty. But it was a weird thing where there's a Quantum Solace game, but there aren't any other games from that era.
From those movies.
So, and it just kind of sticks out as a sore thumb kind of a thing.
Well, didn't Legends also do the thing where you're replaying other Bond movies, but you're playing as Daniel Craig?
Yeah, and then they added, really weird. Skyfall into it was just a mess.
It was a mess.
So, and then the Bloodstone, not good.
I forgot about Bloodstone.
Yeah, but when they said they were making this, it's okay, I can see what they're going to do with it. And then when they showed it, it's thank God. I love that it's got there's parts where you're driving the car. That's important for a Bond game. I think that people might feel like it takes you out of it, but it's important for a Bond game.
Yeah.
I'm amped. I'm amped for this.
Well,
game.
It looks pretty good. Especially at a time where that movie, the movie franchise is kind of in a hellhole right now.
It's just in a hard pause.
Yeah, it's in a hard pause. This is a good way to keep it going. With a different medium.
Well, and even if the movie franchise starts up again, it's fine because now you've established your own universe. Yeah. And we can easily add, the way Hitman did it, we can easily add DLC packs or content or levels or missions or tons of other things could be added to this. My hope would be that I think this will do really well. I don't think it has I don't
think it's going to be. Yeah, I think it will.
It would have to have some kind of colossal preview mistake where they're no, it doesn't work for it to not do well. So to get maybe another one or something, and it's just I'm super excited for it, and the fact that it comes out next year, great.
Yeah, I mean, it's the kind of thing too. When it was announced, it kind of was for a while when are they going to announce it? But I kind of figured it would be within a year from when they want to launch it. They'll probably start.
That was the only
it.
thing I was worried about. Is we'd finally see something, and then they'd be they either wouldn't say anything, or it would be 27, or because it's important to note that a lot of the stuff of this show was 26, and
a lot of stuff.
A lot of it was.
It didn't make me feel bad because a lot of the show, the stuff that said 26, it's okay, I'm actually really interested in it though, so I am willing to wait for it.
And I have more faith. And the dates
seem real
that this stuff will come out next year, whereas Microsoft's no.
Right.
The weirdest thing of this whole conference was they did show Ghost of Yotei, but they showed nothing really.
I don't know why it was here.
We're going to talk more about it in July. I don't know. For me, everything about the marketing of this game has just been really deafened for me. I'm not interested. No. And I played in Platinum the first one.
I need to go.
But I don't know, man. It's not doing anything for me like the first one did. And they ended on
surprise of the show.
Incredible.
Fucking incredible announcement.
a brand new Marvel fighting game from the people that make the Arc systems. So they make the Guilty Gear games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in that crazy anime art style.
Well, because when they first started
Marvel.
showing it, I was like, "Is this a new Guilty Gear? Like that's cool, but that's not how you end a
That
show."
looks like Tony Stark.
But then it's like, is that like fucking like anime Iron Man? And then it's just like, oh shit, it looks awesome.
It looks like a dope Gundam.
Yeah.
Marvel Toku Fighting Souls is the name of the game. This is gonna slay when it comes out.
Oh,
It's
like
gonna be
100%.
huge.
It's gonna be huge.
I just
Like,
laughed
looks so
because
good.
it's like those last couple Marvel vs. Capcom games kind of, I don't think, did what they wanted them to do.
No.
So
they
they
fell
finally
flat.
said, they went to Sony and said, we feel like we could make something. And Sony
Absolutely.
was like, okay, let's do it. And like, it's 4v4, but it's got cool things where like, you can either, I think there's a mode where like you can tag out and like
Okay.
switch between them. There's also one where like you just play as like the main person and then you can call the other guys in to do stuff. And like, they've only shown, 8 characters or so. This is going to have like 44 fucking characters.
I hope so.
And I think the art style is great. I'm totally playing the game in Japanese because their voices sound awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Just it looks like fluid and
It's
incredible.
a really cool partnership. The people behind, like every aspect of the people behind it, between Sony, between Arc System Works and Marvel, they all seem like incredibly passionate about making.
They did that little like vignette thing where they talked. I'll admittedly, as someone who's very excited for this game, that was too long. But it's too long for the last thing they're going to show.
Yeah, because I kind of like, as it was going on, I'm like, okay, maybe they are going to show one more thing after this. They did,
but everything but just like everybody seems super excited. The amount of work they put in, like I think this game's going to blow up because it looks like what you wanted MVC to be, and now it's a bummer. Like we're not going to have Capcom stuff in it, but maybe we don't need them anymore, man.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, this was a hell of a showcase for Sony. Like I walked away from it very excited for the first time.
Yes,
because I went into it be like, oh, another state of play. What kind of garbage are we going to be thrown? Where we're going to be just disappointed at the end of it, and I was walked away very excited for most things that were shown.
There's like 8 or 9 games in here that I'm
like
very excited for, and it was a very good mix of like music, puzzle, fighting, James Bond, the Digimon game, a golf game. Like there's just so much stuff that I'm
packed a lot in an hour.
Yeah, and just like as a show, incredible show, the best show they've had. I can't think of a better one.
Yeah, I would say of this console generation, easily their best showcase, I think, that they've had. So we kick off over to the Jeff Keighley show, the actual Summer Games Fest show, where we're so like I'll say like we're starting high and we'll be ending low. Showcases.
Well,
so
I would argue there's not even a middle. I would argue there's a high and 2 lows because I finished watching this today. Because I was only able to watch like the first like maybe 30 minutes when it came on. And then by all accounts, after I didn't miss the rest of it, I was told you didn't miss much. So I went back and watched it today.
I will be honest, I skimmed through this and because right when I got the announcement I wanted, which was the final announcement of this showcase, it had already been put up on YouTube. So I was like, I don't need to sit and watch this entire showcase.
Yeah.
So I kind of just picked out the trailers that seemed interesting to me after the showcase aired, because it aired at a goofy time on that Friday too. It was like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon or something weird. So
can I just give early thought?
Yeah,
show's terrible. I don't foresee why this even exists anymore. Because we're gonna go through
advertising.
It, but like, the whole thing is an ad. 80% of this show is check out this dumb new indie game. Check out this pay to play indie game. Check out this free to play. Check out this content for a mobile game. Check out you like
Clash of Clans.
Almost everything announced during the show is boring.
Yeah. They kicked it off with the announcement of Mortal Shell 2. I wasn't a big fan of the first one, so they talked about the Fortnite Death Star set. That's already happened, so we don't really need to discuss that. they showed some Death Stranding footage. I don't need to see any more of the game at this point. It's out in 2 weeks.
But you don't know what that game is by now,
right? Yeah.
Like,
then we start getting into weird territory. Like, here's the Chronicles Medieval, the weird medieval sandbox game.
odd.
I will say,
okay. The
I am
next
super
one,
into,
yes.
I am super in, and will get Sonic Racing Crossworlds. It's already on my Black Friday list. This game looks awesome. The stuff that they're adding, you have Ichiban from
You can fucking
Yakuza.
play as Hatsune Miku against Joker from Persona.
Yeah, from Persona
Insane.
5. There is Minecraft Steve is in the game along with a Minecraft level, which looks crazy. This game looks awesome. And I think for the people that maybe aren't into the idea of Mario Kart World being an open world game, they're going to really dig this.
This is the game you want.
This looks like Sonic's Racing's Mario Kart 8.
Yes.
So
yeah, you know what? That's actually exactly what it is.
It looks awesome. And considering the last one they made was that Team Sonic Racing game, that was kind of a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like they've learned all the mistakes they made with that, and they're just going all in on this one. That was an exciting. Like, I watched the trailer, like, I'm happy we have a date for it now. I will totally play that. Code Vein 2, I don't.
This is the part of the show.
Was that big of a hit?
This was this part of the show, and where it was just like my friend and I were texting each other back and forth, and this is about when I had to like step out. But it's just like, is every game just a fucking sequel now? Like, all games are sequels, right? Even the Sonic game, that's a sequel.
Yeah,
like Death Stranding, that was a sequel. Mortal Shell, that's a like we're just it's a sequel fest, sequel game fest.
Indie game End of the Abyss. We're talking indie games here. I mean, it looks okay, but it kind of reminds me of
Inside.
Except it's a twin stick shooter. Mouse PI for Hire, the Cuphead looking first person shooter.
Sure.
I think it looks. To be fair, I think it looks cool. It's something I'm interested in, but again, what's the big announcement here? Troy Baker is the voice of the main character. Wow.
Ooh, wow.
This Game of Thrones, like. Our Game of Thrones ended 6 years ago. Why are we getting all these Game of Thrones games now, right? Like, it's not even like they showed this trailer and it's all CG because the actual game is just a fucking RTS,
right?
So,
which actually,
that's kinda,
when you think about it, makes a lot of sense for a Game of Thrones game.
This is the point of the conference where I turned it on and I was incredibly fucking confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did not play this game. You did not play this game, but you played this game, Matt. Would you, in your wildest imagination, think you could tell me that they would not only be making a sequel to Atomic Heart, but also a MMO spinoff of Atomic Heart?
About the cube. The cube in the sky.
What if I told you both of these are true and real?
I just don't get it.
All games are sequels.
Honestly, that game was so bad because, like, I just couldn't get, like, the game. It wasn't even the gameplay that was horrible. It was just a consistent talking from that fucking character. Like, I just couldn't handle it because I was like, why are you still talking? Like, shut up. Just let me play the fucking game. Like, you were literally talking throughout the entire gameplay.
Hey, what if I told you
think
this trailer looks like it's just more of the fucking same?
Right?
It was
fuck
weird.
I don't want it.
You don't want to hang out in the cube?
No, hell no.
Whatever the fuck the cube is, like, even when they showed that, I was like, what is
10 minutes of this thing where I was just
Atomic
like,
fucking universe. What is
why
happening?
is this a thing? Yeah.
Like, how is this? I don't even know. Like, I haven't even talked to anybody who's played the first one. And that's
I know 2 people, and you're one of them.
I just have zero interest.
I hated that game. I'm so stupid.
Really confusing. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which continues to look cool.
Amazing.
All that they did here is they announced that She-Hulk and Rocket Raccoon are in the game.
Great. Put 30 more characters in the game, please.
More footage of Onimusha Way of the Sword.
Now, you were talking about samurai games. I'm in on that.
No, the game looks good.
Yeah.
Still no release date, sometime 2026. I would imagine, given the other thing announced here, it's probably after that other thing. So probably later in 2026.
Yeah.
this felt that boxing game. This looked okay, but it was really bizarre trailer, right?
What is happening?
Like just a really weird concept, and like it looks like a movie. Like it was really bizarre.
I messaged you when I first saw it, and I said that's fucking weird, but I'm in it, man.
I'm kind of in it.
All games are sequels except the weird fucking puppet boxing game.
This weird puppet game.
What is this?
This game that's probably not going to work from Square Enix Killer In. I mean, again, on paper, incredibly cool concept. It's basically Clue. Is it going to work that way? No.
But it's like Clue and Among Us and what's the Gary's Mod game?
Oh,
not the Trader one, the other one. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, but it's like that. It's like a mixture of all those games. My problem I have with it is there's 24 people. First off, are you going to find a game with 24 people in it?
No.
Probably not. Second off, what happens when there's the meta breaks and people find out that you just randomly killing people is quicker to earn experience or whatever?
Right.
Exactly. So that's the kind of game where in order for it to be fun and as advertised, people have to play it correctly.
And I don't think
people don't play it correctly, the game doesn't work. And that happens all the time when you get like weird experimental multiplayer stuff. If people don't play it as designed, it's broken. And like here, you want a good example of that is like as someone who played a lot of Assassin's Creed multiplayer, nobody played it correctly.
No.
Yeah, like the point of the game was to like hide and do all this stuff. Everyone just ran around knifing each other. So it completely ruined the game.
Yeah.
So this game, 24 people is too many people to ask to behave in the way that your game dictates they behave.
Exactly. Arc Raiders, again, another multiplayer extraction shooter. Don't care. Dune Awakening launch trailer that's actually out. That actually seems like it's done pretty successful, but isn't it? It's a survival MMO. I can't.
I think that's for certain people.
Yeah, it is. This out of world stop motion co-op platformer, again, indie game.
It just, I think they even said like, it's like Brothers. It's like, yeah, because it's the same fucking game,
right?
Dude.
Right.
Like it's all games.
I actually did not watch this trailer because I'm already sold on it. I don't need to see more of it. But Mafia: The Old Country, they put a new trailer.
Yeah,
we already know that's out in
August.
August.
Shows you
I'm into
Mafia: The Old Country. It is what it is.
I've played all the Mafia games. You know, they've already confirmed it's a $50 game, so I'm in on that. Lego Voyagers, like what can you tell me about Lego Voyagers? Because this seems like something that maybe you would be more into.
I don't know. So it's a 2-player, like essentially like a puzzle game with Lego pieces where you're kind of like figuring out how to traverse the world. As I was watching it, like it seemed cool. I don't know who it's for because you would think, as an adult who builds Lego is inherently marketed more towards kids in terms of like a play sense and like collectors for like me, right? This game, I didn't get a sense of you're playing it, so I don't think it's for kids. I think it's for puzzle people. But then it's
older,
it's odd. Maybe it's the kind of game where it comes out and it's like a digital $35 or something, and it's okay. Yeah. But you'd have to find someone else who's willing to play this style of game with you.
Yeah, or something. Okay. Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny.
Okay. This announcement was fucking weird. Okay. So they brought out I don't know who she voices, but they brought out like a famous like Nickelodeon voice actress, right?
Okay.
And she introduced this game. She's like, but it's kind of secretive and I can't really tell you. And it's like, okay, then why are you here presenting it? Yeah. So then they show it off, and the only character they really reveal is SpongeBob, and it's basically Diablo for Nicktoons characters is what it looks like. Which, okay, I guess so. But they haven't shown any other characters. What era of Nickelodeon are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's very important for who this is going to sell to. There are very distinct parts. Like we grew up in the Rugrats, Real Monsters era, but then there's the Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob era, and then there's whatever the fuck's going on now. So, and like, it's what era is it? You kind of need to know. The artwork, the box art out for this, I don't know if you've seen it. Like VGP has it up. It's the characters are blacked out. They have not revealed it. It's like, but it's also supposed to come out like relatively soon. I don't think it's like
it
like
says Q4 2025 release.
Yeah. Why is it a secret? Why do I not get to know what Nicktoons characters are in your fucking Diablo clone? What is the possible reason for that?
If I could guesstimate where they're going off just of this whole trailer itself, I'm shooting the Fairly Odd Parents are going to have something to do with it. Yeah. Just because of that whole poof and the stick and all that. So I'm thinking SpongeBob's got to be the main character, and the playoff is going to be that era of the Fairly Odd Parents and
Danny Phantom. Isn't that one?
Yeah, Danny Phantom.
But is it? So are we just going to do the characters that were in the failed fighting game?
Also, let me burst some bubbles real quick on this game.
Okay.
If you do not know, the developers of this specific Nicktoons game are the people that made that Con Skull Island game.
You run for this. This game sucks.
Yeah.
So maybe don't get too excited.
No, I'm not even saying I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't understand why we need to have an era of mystery around a fucking Nicktoons game.
It's weird.
It doesn't. Who is it for? What is it? What is the selling point?
So if you're looking at around the 2001 era, just kind of guesstimating.
Sure.
Off of Fairly Odd Parents started, you're looking at Invader Zim, the all grown up version of Rugrats. You've got like Jimmy Neutron.
Okay, then who is this game for?
I don't even know. That would be for
people who are like 30.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Because because see, like if you're going around that time frame, the Angry Beavers stopped. You know,
well, that's the thing is all the things I can think of were over. Real Monsters was over. Angry Beavers was over.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff I would be interested in if I were going to play this, but I'm not because it's not going to be good.
Yeah. No. Agreed.
But why did it get a fucking guest introduction from a voice actress?
That's so stupid.
Couldn't talk about it.
It's weird.
Jeff, what the hell are you doing?
The Lies of P DLC got a shadow drop. This was actually discovered right before the show that it was probably going to shadow drop over the weekend. So you
want to know something fucked about this DLC? You'll enjoy this?
Go for it.
So
I've not played that game.
So a friend of ours has platinumed it. And he was telling me about it. He's like, oh, I want to jump into it.
Yeah.
And you can only play it if you are at chapter 9 in the story. And guess what? You can't go back. So if you've gone beyond it, you have to start over and play all the way to chapter 9. He was lucky enough where he happened to have a save from chapter 9 so he could just do it. But I was like, that seems real fucked that I can't just play the DLC when I boot the game up.
So does it work in a way now, like a new player, if they bought it with the DLC, you would just get to chapter 9 and then go into that DLC?
I think it would be you would get to chapter 9 and then you would have like the option to go into it.
Okay.
But apparently it adds some kind of like weird difficulty like thing where you can like change the difficulty because the other thing about his game is he's on chapter 9 in like new game plus. So it's on crazy hard. So it's like I went to go do it and it's fucked up. But because of the difficulty scaling, I was able to turn it back down and kind of balance out what it probably should have been. But it's just like it's a fucked way to do it.
It's not a good way to do that. Fractured Blooms, which is like a weird looking horror game.
I read more about it after. It's like a horror farming.
It looked weird.
Also, like Doki Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill.
That's what they're saying.
That's not an appropriate way to describe. Like that tells me like you don't really know what Doki Doki Literature Club is because the point of that game was that you weren't supposed to know it was horror until halfway through.
The game is weird.
This trailer blatantly shows that it's horror the entire time.
Yeah.
So it either is or it isn't, and it's a bad way to describe it.
The next Yacht Club games game from the people that did Shovel Knight, Mina the Howler, got a release date. It's coming out on Halloween. I don't know, like I'll probably try it. There's demo now if you haven't tried the demo yet.
I mean,
I like Shovel Knight a lot.
They make great games, so
they made a really good game in Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
Can I interest you in Deadpool VR though, Dan?
You cannot.
Okay. But hey, man, he's got his sick fucking humor,
and he's Neil Patrick Harris now.
Is it Neil Patrick Harris voice? I
couldn't get Nolan North or Ryan Reynolds, but we got Neil Patrick Harris.
Random. Dying Light: The Beast. They showed a new trailer for that. That's out August 27th or 22nd. I'm so lost on what the plot of Dying Light is.
That's so weird. It
seems like they stripped a lot of the parkour out of it, right?
I can't tell.
It seems weird.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the selling point of Dying Light.
That was the whole parkour of the first game.
That's why I fell in love with the second one.
Right. That was the whole idea.
Parkour was so dope. It was so fun.
That mixtape game got a new trailer. I don't think they had any kind of release date.
I still think that game looks kind of interesting for it looks kind of interesting one of those kinds of games.
Now we're getting into some weird indie territory. Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. I don't think I even saw this trailer.
I don't think I did either.
Acts of Blood.
That's actually a lot of fun.
Is that a game that you played like a demo for, right?
Yeah, it's a solid demo. I mean, I'm hoping a lot of it's cleaned up when they release it, because if they do, I'm in on that game. That game was a lot of fun.
Sequel to the Scott Pilgrim game, Scott Pilgrim EX.
That one looks really good.
Announced.
That's made by I'm pretty sure it's made by the Turtles people.
My good buddy Hannibal Mads Mikkelsen will reprise his role as Lashif.
That was cool.
For a Hitman level based upon that character.
That's already out.
Cool.
It's
already out. It's a pretty cool crossover event, though.
But what about the crossover with Mindseye? It's coming.
We'll get to Mindseye.
Yeah, I love Mindseye.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Game of the year.
Oh,
some might say else. Lego Party, Mario Party style Lego game. Sure. I mean, kids will probably play and like it. This confused the hell out of me because I thought this was something that had to do with Splitgate, this Wildgate game, and then I realized no, this is its own thing. It's a PvPvE multiplayer. Actually, I'm not interested.
Not at all.
The minute I have to read the words PvPvE, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, another indie game, Blighted. But I will say this is from the people that made your favorite Metroidvania game, Guacamelee.
Yeah.
So might be something interesting. This is one of the games I was interested. You're gonna be like not shocked at all. One of the more interesting games from the show. I think I sent you a trailer for it, Matt. This Ill game.
Yeah, it looks wild.
This game looks wild as hell, and just grimy and like I'm very in on it. There was a brief moment of this whole showcase where I was like, the way that they spell ill is kind of in that Resident Evil font. I was like, maybe there's something more to it, but we'll get there. Mecha Break is coming out July 1st. I'm probably like all of these weird multiplayer stuff. Like that's the one that interests me. I'm probably going to look at it. It kind of gives me the vibes. Because wasn't it this time last year that First Descendant came out?
Yeah, it's been around a year.
Mm-hmm. So it's the one I'll probably check out. I'm gonna Infinite Simmels. Am I saying that right?
Infinitesimals.
You knew I was gonna.
I know.
I didn't even see the trailer for this. So
whatever. I skimmed
We're gonna pass it up.
Don't care.
This was the weirdest part of this entire showcase, and I'll explain it in a minute. They brought out the current Resident Evil head. He just said, "Hey, we're looking forward to showing you the new Resident Evil soon," and that was all they kind of did. And then they kind of just moved on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, "Oh, that's really weird." They confirmed what is it here? The next set of downloadable fighters for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Again, here's another weird one of these indie games. Last Flag, competitive multiplayer capture the flag game. No, I don't care. Wu Chan Fallen Feathers. That's out pretty soon, July 24th. A game that I hope is good would be the Wu-Tang game.
Dude,
I hope it's good.
What the fuck?
Listen,
even
man,
if that
I
game is complete
Wu-Tang
and utter garbage, that soundtrack is going to be fucking lit.
Right?
Like, I am in on just the soundtrack. Like,
No,
I
am
even
too.
care.
That's why I was like, man, I really hope, because I've heard stuff for a couple of years now about this game, and I hope it's good. But the soundtrack will be good.
Oh God, yeah.
No release date for that. They really didn't show much of it other than more confirming what it is. Into the Unwell, again, another indie game. This we finally got a title for it
for the crazy game?
Studio Rio Go. Their new game, the Yakuza people, was originally called Project Sentry. It's now called Stranger Than Heaven.
Love it.
It looks in fucking insane visually. Like,
this game's
I don't think this is a PS5 game. Like, I think this is a couple years away.
I could see it still making it on PS5 probably because like PS6 is so far. It's farther away than people think it is.
Yeah.
Especially with, Xboxes aren't a thing anymore. PS6 can take as long as it wants now. But
it can now, right? Yeah.
But yeah, this game looks crazy as fuck. I love it because, it's one of their games, but you clearly don't have to have played anything else they've made.
No. And then finally we close on game of the show, even though it's not a very great show to be fair. So
Game Love.
We finally did it. We got the announcement. Your buddy Jeff is the one that got to pull it this year.
Well,
Resident Evil 9 has officially been announced. It is called Resident Evil Requiem. Comes out February 27th of next year. It is going a different direction than I would have expected. It has been confirmed now. So there are people that have seen the game behind closed doors. So there are people that have now played it. There are new screenshots out there, but one of the cool things they did confirm, because I was on the fence on this, you can play the game in either first or third person. And I think that's a smart decision on their part.
That's what it needs to be done now.
There are some people that like the first person. But for me personally, I would prefer it to be third person. The crazy part, you play as the daughter of a character from Resident Evil Outbreak. Play as Grace Ashcroft.
Outbreak remakes confirmed.
Yes, we're finally doing
File 3.
Kind of a weird place to pull. The trailer is good because it's exactly what I wanted the trailer to be. It's another one of those you can tell it's the re-engine, but what is it going to be? I told you I was skimmed through Jeff Gerstmann's stream of it, and when it got to a certain point, he's like, "Well, this guy's either going to show a zombie or a dinosaur," and that made me laugh because I'm like, "Oh, it could go that other way, and that'd be even fucking crazier." But
that engine looks a certain way.
It looks a certain way.
You and I talked about it. It's like I was able to recognize it immediately because the Monster Hunter faces all look exactly like this.
They do. And it was one of those where this could be they're showing these different things, and then they start talking about it, and then they really get into it. But I think the thing that's most intriguing about this game, at least from what we know, what we've seen so far, you're going back to Raccoon City. It is after the events of 2. I mean, it is number 9 in the series, so it's going to be after the events of all these other games. But you're going back to Raccoon City years and years later after they dropped the bombs on that city. They show blown up Raccoon City Police Department. It looks awesome. The rumor right now, and I think it's probably true, is that she is not the only playable character. The other playable character will be
Leon
a
F.
familiar.
Kennedy.
I was gonna say a familiar character, and it's probably Leon, right? I feel like that's who's.
If you're going back to 2 era places,
it makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe just
it makes sense,
now.
And also that actor that played him in the 2 remake and the 4 remake. People did some digging on his LinkedIn and found he's working on a current AAA game for Capcom. I wonder what that could be, So it's pretty much confirmed. I walked away very happy with what they showed in this trailer. They're going to show more of it at Gamescom in August. That's where we're going to finally see the first actual gameplay.
The only sad thing is they didn't cram IX into the title, so they had to use the Q as a 9. They did a weird thing
where they flashed a 9 in there, and I was like, I was into it.
At least they did it, but
at least they did that.
We could have put IX in it somewhere.
They could have done it.
We could have.
I'm all in. I look forward to it. That closed this showcase. Like I said, it not a great showcase.
Overall,
a lot of boring, a lot of indie.
Boring.
Man, I don't care about this PvPvE game.
A 2-hour show with 20 minutes of stuff I gave a shit about.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
that's not the worst of the worst.
Can we go lower?
We can certainly go lower. So I got a lot of flack for this week, but I will just come out and say it. this was the worst showcase I think Microsoft has ever had.
It's up, yeah.
So,
it's one of the worst.
It
is, by far.
And I've had a lot of people like I saw people giving it like B minuses and stuff.
For
I
what?
cannot see it.
There's nothing there to give it a B minus.
And I missed the first 10 minutes because I was out walking my dog.
Yeah, and the first 10 minutes is arguably probably one of the better games they have. Right?
Yeah, so they like strangely enough and oddly enough, they open with the Outer Worlds 2, which like that's the game that you're going to show this extended thing of at the end of this showcase. I don't know why you're opening with that.
And again, it's the biggest thing you have right now.
It is the biggest thing they have to probably show at this showcase. So, they showed that.
It looks great.
It's on October, end of October.
I will say we'll go ahead and talk about it now. I was very excited about it until I was told it was $80. No thanks. Yeah. Like, I get it. It's on Game Pass. It's free on Game. I understand. As a PlayStation person, it's going to cost me $80 for what apparently is an unlock code on a disc. Not interested.
No thanks. I'll wait for it to be on sale. That was a disappointing thing. Now I'll just say it now. Like it got enough scrutiny that one of the game leads had to come out and say that's not our decision. That's Microsoft's decision. You know, to price the game at $80, but it is going to be Microsoft's first party game that will be $80.
First of many.
First of many. High on Life 2 is a thing, which I liked High on Life 1 a lot.
That's the kind of announcement where it's kind of like, yeah.
I get it. I don't think it's this winter.
That's not an egregious thing to make a sequel to.
No. It is. I like that the dude was skateboarding. Yeah. I like the first one a lot. I'm and you're throwing skateboarding in there, you got my attention. So but I don't think it's this winter. I think it'll get pushed.
Yeah.
Because again, it was only a cinematic trailer. They didn't show actually any gameplay. So again, going on trailers I did not see right away. This new Plague's Tale, Renaissance of Plague Tale, but like it when I saw the images of it, I did not watch the trailer, but it reminds me of Prince of Persia, the Warrior Within, right?
Oh,
really weird, right?
But hey, what if I told you all games are sequels? That's 3 in a row to open this one.
Okay. He's got a point.
Like it just keeps happening.
How about can I sell you on an Xbox ROG Ally for probably $800?
You cannot.
Okay.
This thing.
I don't know, guys. I might be
more powerful one that will probably push upwards of 1,000.
Fuck no.
You don't want to stream Xbox?
This is insane.
You can't. You're not gonna play them natively.
But
no. Did you see like they put out a thing after it's like you can't play a lot of stuff on this.
I saw like some of the bigger Xbox influencers being like, hey, I have this massive library that I can only play 6% of on this device. Who is this for?
Because again, this is an Xbox, except it's not.
It's not.
It's a computer.
It's a handheld PC.
Yes.
That has other storefronts.
That has an Xbox logo on it. That's all it is. Like this is it better? Is it better than the PlayStation Portal thing? In a way, yes, because it can do other things. And you'll be able to play PS5 games on this too. Or Sony games, I should say. But
yeah, that's been the other. I've seen so many like Twitter battles this week over that for some dumb reason. These kids throw them I'm like, it's 2025. There are no more console wars.
No.
Man. It's dead.
But I mean, the fact that it can play Steam and stuff is enough for it to be able to play Sony games on it. Like,
exactly.
This can play plenty of stuff, but it's important to know that it is not your Xbox.
No,
it is a computer that does other things. Like,
it is way overpriced.
If they truly gave up on making their own handheld just to do this, then they fucking punted.
Yeah,
they said, "Fuck it, we're definitely not making any hardware of any kind anymore.
Yeah,
we will allow other people to make it and put our stamp on it." And hopefully people will do it.
There will be people that buy it.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, I've seen people trying to throw out this big game changer this week. I'm like, it changes nothing.
If I told you this system already fucking exists?
It does.
It's called a ROG Ally.
Like, all you get here is a dedicated Xbox guide button. Like,
right.
Cool.
This seems unnecessary to me that if we gave up an Xbox handheld for this, I'm very disappointed.
I'd rather own a Steam Deck because I can download those games to it.
Yes.
I'd rather
also,
own a
That's
Switch
kind of the first thing I
because
looked
I can
at.
download those games to it. Yeah.
They're cheaper.
When I saw that drop, I was like, so is this just a Steam Deck? Is that all we're doing?
Yeah.
Like,
it's the Windows version of that.
Yeah.
Basically.
So it's just
not interesting.
I also think it was crazy that this is like the fourth thing they showed. Like, if you're trying to
lead with it or
make this a big deal, why didn't you maybe not close the show with it, but put it towards the end and blow it out and make it bigger thing and like show games running on it and do like something to show it off. But it further proves that it's something they do not care about.
No, not at the level that they feel like they should.
Right, or that if they made their own, they would have.
Yeah. Another trailer I didn't see until later on because I was late to getting onto this, but I'm actually interested in this.
Who knows?
Blood of the Dawnwalker, which it just looks like a vampiric Witcher game.
Yeah,
is what it looks like to me. I'm into it, but I will say, it ran kind of janky, didn't it?
Well,
just like the trailer.
It's coming out at the earliest next year.
Yeah,
it
had that like
most other
hero
things.
jank feel to it, where I'm like, okay, I could be into that at a budget. But it looked cool. Super Meat Boy 3D. I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't know.
I'm not a Meat Boy person.
Ninja Gaiden 4 has a release date now. It's out October 21st.
It looks good, and I'm glad it's back. Like,
I'm glad it's back.
It's a cool franchise to be back, and will I play it at some point? Probably, but it's not something I feel like I need day one.
Let's talk about this wild one. Beast of Reincarnation, made by Game Freak, the Pokemon people.
There are so many things about this I don't understand.
I don't know where they cut a deal to make this game. It just
How did it happen?
How did it happen?
It's weird.
Also, you're telling me that these people are the people who made Pokemon, which can't run on a fucking Switch.
But this game looks incredible visually.
This game is like trying to be realistic in a way. Like, I don't know what this is.
I don't know.
I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where it comes out, it gets played for a little bit, and then it just disappears.
Yeah,
I agree. Indiana Jones DLC, The Order of the Giants. It's out September 4th.
Okay.
Yes, I wonder how long. How long do you think it is?
I mean, the main game's pretty long. I would say
maybe like a 6-8 hour thing. Okay.
And 6 is probably what I would want it to be if it's a DLC. What I'm hoping for is on PlayStation they do some kind of like the complete package, and that's when I buy it.
I feel like by Black Friday, if that doesn't exist physically, it exists digitally.
Yeah. So, I would like a complete package.
You would like to own a physical copy of that game. Yeah. It'd be a cool thing to have on your
really good.
So this is where I first turned on. This is when about time I got home, turned on the showcase, and like for me, I'm just gonna talk about like this is a game that I had mild interest in, and this trailer did the complete opposite for me. It turned me off on this game. That is Clockwork Revolution. And I think the problem with it is two things. One, it looks very much like BioShock Infinite. Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing, but it looks very much like that game. But two, when they start explaining the concepts of how they're manipulating time and stuff in this game, it seems way too ambitious. And it's not going to work the way that they're describing.
Also, I think this trailer was terrible because the guy wouldn't stop talking.
Right?
The whole fucking thing is narrated, and it's okay if it's 30 seconds. This thing's like 3 minutes, and it went on forever, keeps going. And I'm trying to look up. My friend and I were texting while we were talking about it, and he said something where
it made me check.
It made me laugh because I've been like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
So like it's very rare that I get a trailer where I'm like mildly interested and then I see the trailer, I'm like, boy, I am just out on this. But for whatever reason, I just could not be more out on that game. I just not interested in the slightest.
He said Well, because when it popped up, I texted him. He was like, "Hey, BioShock is here," because that's all this game is. It is not.
Right?
It's not even
Yeah.
trying to hide the fact that it's basically BioShock Infinite with a time loop thing in it.
Yeah.
And he just said it's too talkative, and I told him I think this is one of those games where like the devs of this game think this game is so fucking cool you can't even handle it. You can't even comprehend how fucking cool our game is that we made.
I agree.
That's basically a copy of another game, which is already getting a spiritual sequel from the guy who made it. And I'm more interested in that game than this one. And I know nothing about that game.
Yeah.
So it's just like this game really just kind of was like, I got.
I don't even think they showed a date at the end of this trailer.
I don't think
it just said coming when it's
in
ready.
due time, which is the same thing they said last time.
Yeah.
And it's just like. This game just gives me like the ick, man. I just like it did.
It's
too. I'm not cool enough to play it.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm not cool enough either.
I'm not cool enough to play
Not qualified enough. Not cool though.
Can I interest you in a sequel?
No,
to
thank
Grounded?
you.
Grounded 2.
Sure. I'm a pass.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that it's happening, but it seems crazy that but again. It is coming out July 29th in early access.
Sure, but the first one was also in early access for fucking ever too.
Yeah.
So this seems almost like it's too soon for this game to be coming out.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm into Chronos: The New Dawn. This is everything in Microsoft is a third-party game now, but this is not a Microsoft branded game. This is from Bloober Team, so this is what they're doing in between Silent Hill stuff. I think this game looks cool as hell, and I'm totally gonna play. I mean, again, I'm into the horror stuff, so I think the game looks cool as hell. This other game, the next one here, it does interest me. The big selling point for me was the kitty cat, but again, it's also one of these like, who is this actually for?
This game,
right?
Yeah.
This game can fuck itself. Like I think
there are no ghosts in the gray.
Is
what it's called. Okay. You didn't like the singing?
I hated it.
I didn't like singing.
I actively hated it because it's the cringiest thing in the world.
Okay.
Like, where maybe it makes sense in the context of the story. I'll never find out because that turned me off of it immediately.
Okay. I mean, the thing that turned me off on it is like, how about like, because I'm watching the trailer and I'm like, so is it kind of going to be like a renovation game that has a story?
It's
what it sounds like.
Seems like.
But it's like, okay, but what if like we just cut the story out of it and I just renovate
stuff? Yeah,
because
it's like your dad abandoned a haunted hotel or something, and you're like rebuilding a hotel, and then I guess
but this kitty cat's talking.
Then
about
the ghosts are gonna come sing to you when you put the couch back in the right spot in the room. No thanks, dude. Like I'm out.
How about we just cut all that out and just renovate a hotel?
Yeah.
Now we're talking. But how about we like get a couple people that can do it?
God, what if we could co-op renovate a hotel? So good.
Don't Nod. They have a new game coming out called Aphelion, which was like it's a sci-fi. It looked very generic.
This is another thing my friend and I were talking about.
Okay.
With Don't Nod, and like you and I are on record as we like their early stuff.
I love Remember Me.
Remember Me is good.
People don't, but yeah.
Life is Strange. First Life is Strange. Very good game.
Okay.
How do they keep getting money to make stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know where it's coming from. Remember Me did not do
fell
well.
Off. So yeah.
Like Life is Strange, they don't even make that anymore. That's not them. Where is their money coming from? Because from what I see from them, they just keep making the same game.
And that's kind of what this game looks like.
And this one just looks like it's the same game, but
it's sci-fi
space.
Yeah.
At the very end of it, it kind of gave a thing of like maybe there's more to it, where like maybe there's a creature or something. But until that, it just looked like it was like I'm Alone simulator.
At the same time, like if I want that style of game, that other Dark Pictures game comes out later this year. That's kind of the same premise, right? It's just that's more John Carpenter's The Thing, but still, like that looks way more interesting to me.
When I watched this, I immediately thought No Man's Sky.
Okay.
Like, and how No Man's Sky originally was just like a what do you call it? Like you just looked over, like you just went around and walked around. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but at least that had like a progression feel to it. Like you could get stuff and you could leave the planet and you could do stuff. This game is just, it's another, I don't want to say telltale, but it's just like you're playing through this thing and like doing little tiny things. Like, what is it?
Like there's no villain. There's like nothing. Like this trailer really didn't show a case.
Well, that's like
anything.
the very end of it. They give a thing where like maybe there's some kind of monster when that guy like opens a door or something.
Yeah, but
that could be in the past and you never see it. Like
exactly.
I just don't know where. I'm not saying these people like deserve to close or lose their jobs.
No, we're not.
But in a world where like every damn week these people are fired, we closed this, we canceled these 3 things, we did that, these people are gone. Hey, do you know if anybody's hiring? They keep pumping stuff out, but I don't know anyone who plays their stuff anymore.
And I don't hear anything about the sales of these games.
No,
it's really
just
weird.
an odd one that like
it's an odd one
to show up in an Xbox showcase. But you want to talk about an odd one?
Talking about Mudane 2 Hearts.
I don't know what the fuck this game is, but
I don't know what this game is either.
I'm kind of into it because it's weird.
It's weird as hell. Like at first, I thought it was. I'll be honest. At first, when they showed the guy with the goggles, I thought they were doing some crazy Japanese reboot of Splinter Cell. That's what I thought.
Like, it kind of has like a weird feel to it, and I think that was my friend texted me immediately with just Splinter Cell in all caps. And then it was like a Korean thing, and then like maybe like some K-pop stuff going. Like I don't know what is happening.
It's weird as hell.
I want to see more, but it's the kind of thing
I need to see more of it.
If I could play that game for cheap, I'd probably give it a shot.
It's labeled a military stealth game.
That's not what it looked like.
No, I agree. These next couple ones I'm gonna fly through because we're into that territory of like indie. I don't care part of the showcase. There was Anemo, which is a free-to-play Pokemon-like game.
Not on PlayStation. That was a weird one.
This solo leveling game, which they showed like 30 seconds of. That's just another odd. I remember this game, but I didn't think it was a big enough hit to get a sequel. But Planet of Lana is getting a sequel.
You know what's
Planet
crazy is I started this
first
one not long ago, and I haven't gotten too far into it, but it's an interesting. Like it is interesting. Like the starter of it. So I guess maybe since this is coming out, maybe I should jump back into it and see what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah. But like the setting of it looks like the first one. Like it doesn't look like anything has changed or anything is different from the first one. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We finally just said fuck it and announced Persona 4 Revival, which is the remake of Persona 4. They showed very little footage of it, and I will say from the footage they showed, I don't know how much of a remake this is, other than like the lighting looks better. It was a really bizarre we just put out a good version of that for these systems. I don't know if this one needs a remake at that level. A great Persona game. It's the first one I ever played, so. That was a game I actually sought out to play and played through on the PS2 like way later.
Oh yeah.
So that game, and then I played like half of it there, and then played through the entire thing on the Vita. So, which was a great version of that game. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like personally, like, do I need a remake of 4? Not really. There's a good way to play that already. Yeah. So, but we get to your typical like we got to talk about Fallout 76. I want to talk
about this for just a quick minute.
Okay, you want to go fishing?
I don't. As someone who's played a lot of that game and is considering going back lately,
you don't want to fish.
Why the fuck do I care? Like the game has other things that need to be fixed. Also, there still is not a PS5 version of this game.
It's a little weird, right?
Why? What? Why can't we do
a
that?
Series X version?
I don't think so. But there's no native version of this game, and it's definitely a game that could use an enhancement. But also,
it's weird.
I don't care about fishing or doing all this other crap in the game when I don't have enough inventory space to store any of this unless I pay for it. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, fix your inventory management system before I give a shit about fishing in your game.
So I can't remember, how does it work with the DLC stuff for this game? Do they just throw it in there?
It's just part of the game.
Or okay.
Like it's nice that like they just kind of give you access to it, but I want more inventory space and I don't want to have to pay for it.
At some point I did buy 76 for PS4. So
76, like PS4. I told you, it's a good game. Once you get to the end game loop, it's a fun game.
Okay.
I have weapons in that game where like I can't run out of ammo. It's impossible.
Well, I think you had gone back when they added the NPC update and made it like more of a Fallout.
It's an actual
game.
like Fallout game at that point.
Yeah.
And like when you're playing in a game and doing the end game stuff with other people who play the game, it gets fun because it's chaotic and shit's exploding and it's Fallout. But I've reached my inventory cap and I don't feel like I should have to pay a monthly fee to be able to hold more stuff.
No,
it's crazy.
And that's where
they make the money because the whales pay for that.
No,
and that's why I get expansions for free. But if you're not going to fix it, then I'm not interested in coming back to your game to go fishing. Other games have fishing.
So as a guy who has never played Fallout 76, I am kind of in on fishing games.
Yeah, but like I don't know if this is even like a fishing game. It's probably just some dumb little activity I have to do in the game.
Yeah.
The people that made indie hit Spiritfarer have a new game coming out called At Fate's End. I don't really have more to say about that one. It's another one of those. And this is how sad this showcase was. Probably my favorite trailer of this showcase is the launch trailer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 because they played that CKY song and they had Bam skating around along with the Ninja Turtles.
And you're in a pinball machine.
And that pinball level looks incredible.
Yeah.
The water park level looks incredible. I can't wait for this game. So I got that collector's edition coming next month. So I will be really diving into it. But again, like this game comes out in a couple weeks, and for me that was one of the best things I saw here. But we'll go ahead and bring it right back down after that, because here came, for me, the most perplexing announcement, I think, of a lot of announcements, but this one specifically at any showcase, which is okay. And I've watched this show. I don't think either of you have watched it. We're making you have watched it, the first season or all of it?
I watched the first season. I didn't.
Okay,
I've
seen
to
the
watch
first
the second season,
two seasons. We have not watched the new one, but Invincible, which very good show. If you've never seen it, very good, very well worth your time. A little, you have to get around the fact that it's an hour-long animated show. That's really weird. It took me a while to get over that because it's not how I'm used to watching animated shows. But very, very good show. It's getting a 3v3 tag team fighting game.
So weird.
And like, I already feel like this is a niche thing to begin with.
Are there enough characters for this?
That was my other question. Is like, are there enough invincible characters in this universe to make up a fighting game that people will care about and come back to?
That's 3v3.
That's 3v3. I don't know. I looked at this immediately and just thought, like, again, no slight to the characters, no slight to that franchise, because I think it's a cool franchise, but this seems like a poor idea.
It just seems earlier, like Street Fighter 6 said, hey, we're adding more characters to this. And then you're now going up against this Marvel game that just got announced days before. Yeah. That's is
4v4.
Far more interesting and will sell
way
a
more
lot
characters.
More copies because it has Marvel in the title. Mm-hmm. So I saw some idea thing where they tried to show like crowd reaction to the Invincible trailer, and it's like maybe 20% of the people were like, "Yeah." It's
weird.
I know who it's for, but again, this is another game. This comes out next year.
Yeah.
This game's at least probably 8 months away.
How excited are you to play Gears of War on PS5 in August, Dan?
I'm pretty excited, to be fair.
I'm pretty excited to play it on PS5 as well.
That got confirmed.
Microsoft?
That it is the full game on the disc.
It is? Okay, then I will buy a physical copy of it.
Yes,
okay.
It is full game on the disc.
I will buy that 100%. Mm-hmm. Microsoft is fucking ecstatic for you to play Gears of War on PlayStation 5. So much they had to not only put this trailer in the showcase, but highlight the fact that it is coming to other platforms and will have crossplay. So, then we got our typical Sea of Thieves update. Again, it's still a really big game, and when it hits that $15 price point, we'll jump in on the PS5. I think and look at it. Season 17. They're in their like 8th year.
The only downside to this, and like the fact that this game is still going, not saying that it's bad because it is a fun game. Yeah. It is officially the only thing Rare does,
and that's sad.
Yes.
I really thought maybe this year would be the year, like maybe they'll talk about Everwild again. No, that game has to be dead.
Everything else at that company is on hold until Sea of Thieves stops making money.
Age of Mythology Retold DLC. I don't need to say anything else about that. Let's talk about one of my favorite, just fucking stupid announcements at this showcase. You love it. I know you do. Finally, after it has been announced on literally every other platform, including the Switch too, Final Fantasy VII crawls its way onto the Xbox later this year, but it's only remake integrate.
Mm-hmm.
It is not Rebirth.
Nope.
They didn't even talk about
Nope.
Rebirth. And it's later. Like, what is there still left to do?
It has to be
done for 5 years.
It has to be an exclusivity thing. It has to be.
It has to be,
Has
right?
to be.
And it has to have been 5 years.
When did Intergrade come out?
Intergrade was 2021 because it was like a year later because that was how you played the DLC with Yuffie. So it's been 4 years for that. Like, what the fuck?
Well,
And the other part of this, and this we do know was
Confirmed.
a 2-year
Yes.
exclusivity
confirmed.
deal. Final Fantasy 16 now available digitally only on the Xbox.
Which now
it said
officially-
Intergrade came out in 2022.
It was 22. Okay, so then it's still what, a 3-2
over
probably
3
by
years.
the time it comes out 3
Over
years.
3 years.
Yeah.
But
Insane.
it's strange because this now makes, if you're not counting Rebirth because it technically is part of whatever, but you can, Xbox is the one place you can play all the Final Fantasy games now.
What the fuck?
Crazy as hell. Like, why bother?
Who's left? Like who? Like,
You
I
haven't
know
played
there's
it
gonna
yet?
be hard Xbox kids out there that were like, I'm not buying a PlayStation. I'll wait. So those 5 kids are probably happy. But like, I have to imagine at this point, most people that wanted to play that game bought a PS4 or a PS5 to play it, or bought it on PC.
Yes.
So it's crazy
The Switch
to me
2
that
version
now
I
finally.
get because it's like, that's a handheld version of that game.
Yeah,
I get it.
understand that.
It's different. I don't
Insane.
get it. Well, because not only this, because now it proves that you're not getting Rebirth for maybe at the lowest, probably another year.
Probably another year.
But like, wow,
Insane.
it's such a weird.
Not the place to
And
play
for
if you're
16,
a
and for them to
fantasy
be like,
fan.
and 16 comes out today. It's like, what the fuck are we
Digital
doing?
only.
Yeah, like
the fuck.
crazy, unnecessary.
You know the one thing they could have done to make it up. That like it still sucks, but I could see kids like, okay, why couldn't either of those games be on Game Pass?
Right. Intergrade's coming in winter on Game
even
Pass.
16. How big of a deal would that have been? I'm like, hey, 16's out today and it's on Game Pass. It's a game that's been out for 2
Sony's
fucking
not
years.
expecting to make a lot of money off of that on Xbox.
Exactly.
Just
They're
put it
not
on the
gonna
fucking
sell
Game Pass.
bundles of copies on the Xbox. Insane.
Wow.
Let's talk about a game that I was interested in until I found out the studio behind it and then said I'm out, which is Keeper, the Lighthouse game. I kind of like when it was going, I was like, oh, this seems kind of cool and quirky. And then I realized it's a Double Fine game, and I'm not a Double Fine
Zero
fan
interest.
at all.
Yeah.
So that turned me off. Okay, and then before we get to the final announcement, and that's where I really want to highlight this stupid showcase, because this is what brought me, I gave it an F, and this is the reason why. Before they showed the final announcement, Phil Spencer came out. I will say, one thing I will say about Phil Spencer, he's looking more healthy these days. There were a couple months there where it was like, something might be going on, man. It seems a little weird. He's looking much more healthy, so I'll give him credit there. But he came out, of course, holding the little ROG Ally. They, had to talk about how excited they are for that. But then he torpedoes this entire fucking showcase. And everything you've just seen in the last, like, this was a short showcase, too. It was like an hour.
Yeah.
It was not their normal
It's like
90
the Sony
minutes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Torpedoes everything that's announced by saying, next year, we're excited to celebrate 25 years of Xbox. When morale has never been more low on this stupid system. And then to stupidly say they plan, which this isn't going to happen. There's no way anybody can believe this at this point. They plan to launch Fable, Gears of War E-Day, a new Forza, which wasn't even shown here or talked about or mentioned.
Nothing.
And I would assume that's a Horizon game, but that's hard for them to do because those people are making Fable. So that means they'd have to have a second team that are making a new Horizon. It's possible, but it's bizarre. And then obviously the fourth game, which they did not say by name, but said a franchise that's been there since the beginning. It's Halo.
Halo's the only option, unless we're getting fucking weird and Fusion Frenzy is back.
Hell yeah.
But it's
Boy, would
just
the kids be disappointed.
the Twister game. That's the only game in it.
There you go, right? To come out and torpedo this, be like, hey, man, yeah, it was a bummer this year, but next year we're going to try and launch these 4 games.
He admits this showcase kind of sucked, but next year, think about it.
But stick with us. We'll have more to show you next year. Homie, your system is dead. Like, I talked to my buddy about it the other day. I'm like, I asked him straight up, I'm like, do you view the Xbox as a dead console at this point? And the answer was yes.
Yeah.
And it is. Like, I at this point, I've collectively stopped buying anything on the system. Outside of this Terrifier thing, because I'm going to have to buy that. I'm not buying anything else for the system because it's dead.
So you just rattled off all that stuff that they're talking about for next year, right? What about State of Decay 3? What about
you're going to get all the games that weren't shown.
What about Contraband? Which I forgot was even a game.
Most people did.
How about Perfect Fucking Dark? The game that doesn't exist anymore and they won't talk about it. That game's gone.
I saw it last year.
Did you?
I don't know. I still think that's a fever dream.
Did you?
Before we butcher it anymore, we'll just say then they ended with the whimper that is. I
hated it.
There was a hot minute.
I hated
it too. There was a hot minute where when this trailer is going on, there's all this fucking crazy shit going on, and I'm sitting here thinking like, is this Control 2? Because
I was thinking about like, what could this be? Like, my mind thought Quantum Break for a minute.
I thought that's what I thought first too. And then I was like, okay, then it's got to be. At first, I was like, Quantum Break seems kind of like it. It's got to be Control 2 then, right? Yeah. I guess you're going to play as this dude.
Like, is it Perfect Dark? Like, in a way, it could have been.
It could have been, yeah, right. And then the minute the guy said the words Mason,
all about the numbers,
said, "Are you fucking kidding me? It's Black Ops 7."
I can't believe that was that, and that we're at the point now where fuck Call of Duty. All that's left is Black Ops. Why even call it Call of Duty anymore? Take the fucking name
Black
off.
Ops.
It's Black Ops. Call of Duty is dead. Black Ops lives.
When does this game come out?
This year?
They showed no.
It's coming this year.
They showed nothing of it though.
No, man. Call of Duty.
There was no gameplay.
Doesn't matter.
It was just
don't have to. Call of Duty is a yearly franchise because they need to be able to sell you that for $80 this year.
For Game
Get ready. Yeah. It's $80.
Secondly, it's a trailer for the story, the campaign that we've already determined statistically only like 5% of Call of Duty players play the campaign. So to lead with that as like the lead in of like, oh, we're going to bring Mason back. Like, do kids today care about that? No. They don't even know who that fucking guy is at this point.
They know about the numbers. The numbers.
Like, even if you were to take that character, let's say, and drop him into Fortnite, do you think the kids would know who the fuck that character is?
We should.
No.
We totally
they should. They should also know who Woods is.
Ghost and Price and drop them all into fucking Fortnite.
Hell yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
But still, it's just to then end your entire showcase, which was already terrible, on none of those other games you just mentioned.
Just like, it was the absolute, like, dumbest thing to end on because it's like, of course Call of Duty exists. We all know Call of Duty exists. Like, it's not a surprise. And for you to waste everyone's time and put together this stupid fucking CG thing where he touches a butterfly and cracks the screen, and then the city folds like we're in the movie Inception, and then he says Mason, right? And like the 9 Inch Nail starts blaring, and you're so, oh, it's Call of Duty, I guess. Like, how excited can anyone get?
They paid for that Bane and 9 Inch Nails song, and you know they paid
probably
a lot of money for that
fucking song somehow because they use it so many damn times.
Damn. I just like to end on that.
Even as a Call of Duty person,
it.
How excited can you possibly get? For a Call of Duty game in the middle of June?
Was there anybody watching the showcase that stood up and like pumped their fists in the air for a Call of Duty in 2025? I can't imagine there's somebody that was that excited.
I don't get it.
It's just to end on that, and then to drag and to torpedo it by telling you, well, next year's is going to be so much better than what you just saw. That just shows me where the level of care with that brand is right now. Like, it just they don't care. Everything is all about Game Pass subscriptions, and we'll get to it. I mean, we have that in the news as well. We'll get to it. But that was the last showcase. It was terrible. Like I said, I gave it an F.
It's
I've
awful.
already had people that watched that video that were not happy at that. But I've had people tell me and stuff like, "Oh, it was the best showcase of that." I don't see
Last
it.
year's was
we,
better.
We see a different thing. Like, it was awful. So I've never been more disappointed. Like, I walked away the minute it was over. I think I texted you like that was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And a waste of an hour. I didn't even watch the Outer Worlds thing because I don't need to see that.
No,
like,
you know
I would just
what
like
it
to
is.
play the game.
It looks
I know
good.
what it is.
It's more of that game.
What a disaster.
It was awful. And it's just like to go from the high of the Sony one where it was like the flow of it was good. It announced a lot of games I'm interested in. Even the stuff I'm not interested in, I get it. To go to the game to Summer Game Fest where it's like, good Lord, what a boring piece of shit. Like his shows he puts on are just ads. The Game Awards is terrible too. This is worse than the Game Awards.
The Game Awards I have different issues with, and the obviously the biggest issue I have there is like give a little bit of time to some of these awards instead of rattling off 6 of them and then going, all right, here's the next fucking trailer. Even though we know that's what people watch the show for, but even still, like it's disrespectful. People Can Fly, the people that made our great Outriders game, they have suspended 2 projects and fired a bunch of people. So another studio, the studio's not closing, so that's important to say, but another studio fuckery. And speaking of studio fuckeries, Tencent has bought 15% of Arrowhead as the developers of Helldivers 2. So I assume at some point they're just going to consume Arrowhead.
The acquisition begins.
The acquisition begins. Yeah. The Switch 2 has sold 3.5 million units in its first 4 days. Is the fastest selling Nintendo hardware ever. I mean, nobody should be shocked.
Props to them for having enough consoles to sell.
Right?
Like that's the real takeaway from that headline. Is they actually had enough consoles.
They actually did it. Like I
was seeing stuff online where people were like, I walked into Walmart on Friday and they just had them.
I went into a Walmart on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they did not, to be fair, not the bundles, but just if you just want to switch to, buy one.
Yeah. I saw things online too where it's like Best Buy, they weren't on the shelf, but if you asked up at the front, they had them.
It's kind of thing I figured were like the heart of the heart are going to want to buy the bundle because you save $30, right. But
if you buy that system without it, then you're buying Mario Kart. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
that'd be for physical collectors only, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so we talked about the showcases. That's probably the biggest news. Mm-hmm. But we haven't talked about this year's biggest disaster.
Hey, you don't know that. You don't know that yet.
You know, it's weird because we talked about 2 weeks ago where I made that comment. Boy, it really sure seems like a lot of these outlets are pushing this game, but it doesn't look very good.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out Mindseye is a disaster.
Oops.
What?
A disaster so bad that Sony is allowing digital refunds on the fucking game. Which only happened with Cyberpunk.
Have you seen any clips of it yet?
I have seen.
Did you see the giant
with the
bomb?
faces?
Did you see the giant bomb clip?
No.
So I'll send it to you later.
Okay.
There's a mission where I guess you have to like drive some dude around. But if you stop your car and get out, he'll get out too. But then you can quickly hop back in your car. And if you run him over, he basically gets pulled apart like spaghetti. and it happened, and like they were able to recreate it a couple times, and like he gets like morphed and pulled apart, and then like the game over because he dies or something. I'll send it to you later, but like holy shit, dude, it's not even a hard thing to do.
I've seen some people compare it to Headhunter, and that made me laugh.
I remember
it seems
that.
It seems kind of like that's what it is, but like it just, man, what a disaster.
Is it bad that I really fucking want to play it? Like I really want to play it.
Oh no, I'm in the same boat. I'm like, I'm looking at it like, man,
$20.
20 or lower.
So in.
You're talking about someone that played Left Alive, my guy.
Oh, that's right. I think, oof.
I streamed that game. Oof. So that game is terrible.
I really want to play Mindseye.
I'm in the same boat where I'm like, boy, but I kind of need to see this disaster for myself.
I'll send you that clip later, though. But holy shit.
That's been the disaster of the week. It doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Like, it
came out
like
of
it was going to go that way.
The trailer for it just looked way too good to be true in terms of like this is the game
IGN's
they're
been
making.
Running ads for it all month,
God,
and then they had to put out their 4 out of 10 video
Push Square gave
review
it a
up
3,
today.
like ripped it apart. Yeah, terrible. I love it.
I didn't put it in the news, but there was a Konami event. The only real things that came out of it was more Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake, and they have officially announced that Bloober Team is remaking the original Silent Hill, which is what I wanted them to do. So they did not say that it is Silent Hill 1, but they played the music, and then it was confirmed later on. No, it's Silent Hill 1.
Right.
So, but it was very specifically Silent Hill 1 music, which that's the one I want them to remake the most.
Yeah, I guess
I know
so.
everybody wants to, and two's good.
The other thing about the 1 is like they already did. Like there's that Wii version exists,
Wii
Shattered
version,
Dreams or whatever.
But that's also incredibly hard to get now.
I would
expensive. So
I think we've talked about it before. I would like to see them redo 3.
Yeah, I could, at this point, like if you're gonna do all 3. I mean, we did it for Resident Evil, so we might as well do it here. Mm-hmm. We were talking about Space Marine 2 earlier, but Space Marine 2 continues to be an incredible success. It sold 7 million copies in less than its first year, so you can see why Space Marine 3 was confirmed so fucking fast.
Yeah.
I'm amped.
Yeah.
I'm still amped to play.
And it's crazy too because they're still adding stuff to 2.
They still are
making
it.
3,
still
but we're adding actual content to 2.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
such a good
So real quick, I just saw that clip of that spaghetti thing
crazy,
from
right?
It's dope.
It just gets pulled apart and like twisted. So weird. And you see, Matt, like it's not even a hard thing to do. Like the guy walks in front of the car.
Yeah. This guy literally gets out of the car and then as he's pulling back up and drives near him.
Yeah. I don't know what in the physics
engine. He doesn't actually even run him over.
He touches him.
Yeah, barely touches him.
But I can't understand what part of the physics engine would cause him to be pulled apart. And it's just it's odd.
But then there's a second clip of him, and in this clip, he runs him over, and dude turns into like complete spaghetti.
Yeah,
but
it's weird.
It's weird. Okay,
it's one of those things where I know they're gonna patch that game. I kind of don't want them to. I want to see the disaster.
Yeah, leave it. Don't pull
it. Leave it as is. Leave it as is.
Leave it.
Well, I can tell you on Steam right now, it's got.
It's at mostly negative. I'm sure.
Yeah, mostly negative. And I was trying to just look through them just to kind of see what they were, but it says 840 reviews are negative. 976 are negative.
Damn. I saw something going around, some conspiracy theory about they purposely padded the first 2 hours of that game with a lot of cutscenes to try and avoid people from refunding on Steam.
That's good.
But even still, there was enough where people are like, "Now this game's bad." They're refunded anyways.
It's funny. It's actually funny you say that because one of the comments here says it has great cutscenes. They spent all their budget on the cutscenes.
Okay.
No money left to hire playtesters.
I read that one thing on Twitter and I laughed when I was like, it just seems like a bad version of Headhunter. And that when I read that, I was like, boy, I haven't thought about that game in about 20 years. So that makes sense. Final news article, rumor, but not a shocking one. There are some people are doing some data mining around the game, the Xbox game store, digital online store, and have found that there's likely going to be very imminent a price increase to Game Pass. What a shocker!
Holidays are coming.
Shock me.
What do you think they go for?
Got to offset the cost of selling these games for $80 now.
What do you think the prediction? Like, what do you think? Because right now it's
20
for Ultimate, it's 20,
25 minimum.
I'm thinking 30. I'm going 30.
30. I can see 30 just because like it's a round number.
Because they can argue the value.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty's $80.
You got Outer Worlds 2, Call of Duty. We've never launched a bigger Call of Duty.
Forza's coming.
All these games coming in 2026. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so
God. Imagine not making consoles anymore, and because that's the other thing, they got to make up all the money from that they're not selling consoles without anymore. You know that thing they just raised the price on.
Yeah,
like Jesus, dude. Like they have.
I laughed when I was picking up that Switch 2 because it's the first time I've been in a GameStop since December, and Oh, I didn't even. I'll mention that here when we get to the GameStop stuff you want to talk about. But I laughed when I looked at the case where they have all the used systems. And like, there's a Series X, $529 used. I'm like, this is insane to me. I cannot imagine anybody walking into a GameStop looking for that.
That's bananas.
Yeah. It's to the point where like, if my fiance wasn't so ingrained to use the Xbox now, because that's her preferred platform at this point, I would probably just be like, when Game Pass is up in October, I might just let it lapse and just let it sit there until some of these games start coming out. But because she still uses it frequently enough, I will probably have to resub it at least the rest of this generation. So, but it's just, man, like, never been more like out than I am on everything that they're doing right now.
I just don't get it, man. Like, they have lost it so hard, and it's never coming back.
I enjoyed my time playing Doom: The Dark Ages on my Xbox. I had a fun time playing through that game there. So it's not like it's not fun to use the console, but it's just, I just don't get it. So, why don't we we'll do game recommendations in a minute, but why don't you talk about your dumbass GameStop move for the week, and then I'll mention my GameStop.
So, I mean, we talked about the Staples thing. That was pretty funny to see. I think that blew up more than people. Like, people seem to think it was like every one store that did it. It was one store did it, and to be fair, their reasoning for it was horse shit. But it's over. They had enough consoles to replace everything.
Yeah,
honest mistake. You got your new console the next day. Let it go. But the dumbass move of the week is, like, it's obvious that they have to get away from physical media just because Xbox games don't exist. Switch 2 games barely exist. Like, we need to figure something else out. So they're starting to push super hard into trading cards and stuff, even more than they've already tried to push it into.
Right?
I saw a thing today where people think that they're trying to raise money to buy PSA, like the grading system company.
What?
To have like a control over that, because that's one of their big pushes now is like, bring in your cards, we'll send them out to get graded, we'll do all that kind of shit. But I could see why that would be an investment for them, because then they wouldn't just have control over like the stuff that is submitted to them. They have control over everything. But they can't even handle trading cards correctly now. So we're talking about, like, they don't have Pokemon cards to sell you. They have to have the line out the door where everybody, try to limit 1 or 2 to people. And then even that gets fucked up, and then they don't get restocks. And then Magic the Gathering, the Final Fantasy cards came out today. Same thing. We got 6, limit 1. When are we getting more? Nobody fucking knows. How can you be a player in the trading card market when you can't even get quantity? I went to a local game store to get Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy cards last week. They had plenty on the shelves. I could have bought, like, they still had limits, which I respect, and every store needs to do, but they had plenty. GameStop got a fraction.
I'll say too, like, because I've been in 2 of those types of stores recently. The game, like, board game / Magic / D&D type stores. It is more pleasant to visit one of those stores than a GameStop. I
had a fan. This is a store I just discovered last week while I was on the hunt for these cards.
The people are super nice, always.
The people were fantastic. Down to earth. I will not buy cards from anywhere else now, because they were appropriately priced. The people were very nice. They answered all my questions. Like, they deserve my business. GameStop can't get cards. Like, their pricing is, to be fair, their pricing is MSRP because they can't really mark that shit up like a local game store can. But the one I found sold everything for appropriate prices. So why wouldn't I just go there?
It's weird.
So I don't know. They want to get into trading cards and stuff more? Fine. Board games more? Fine. I said they should have been doing that since I worked there, and they never even bothered. But this is just another, like.
Well, you thought maybe they would do that kind of stuff when they bought Think Geek,
right? But then they ran that part of the company into the fucking ground.
It's too much too fast.
They don't know what they're doing.
Remember, like ThinkGeek was kind of cool before they bought. Like
it was
kind
a
of
cool
like
store before
they
they
get
bought
some
it.
cool stuff to get
Yeah.
on their website. Yeah, and then GameStop bought it and just fucking destroyed it.
Mm-hmm. Ran that brand into the ground,
as they always do.
Yeah.
All the other brands, Simply Mac.
Oh God! Holy
Wild.
shit!
That
That's
just
a
popped in
pull.
my head. Yeah, you like that
That's
one?
a pull.
Oh man. The thing I was gonna say really quick, GameStop. So the weekend before the Switch came out, I did all my like resetting the system and moving my stuff to the cloud. And then originally I was like, well, I'll go to this because my reserve for the Switch was at a different store that's not close to me. So I was like, I'll go to this store that's closer to me. Famously, I won't go to the one that's in my town. So I was like, I'll go to the one that's next to the town. And keep in mind, there's two in that town. And it's a mall situation. There's one inside a mall and there's one outside a mall.
Right.
And I had just been in this store 3 months prior. Was like, you know, last fall. So it's the 3-4 months. Like it hasn't been that long. And so it still says it's there on Google Maps. And I drive over there and I pull up and it is fucking gone. And I'm talking so gone, there's not even a sign. Like typically you'll get that sign when there's two stores in the same town, like, oh, we've moved to this other location. It's just the other location that exists.
I've had to close stores before that did that.
Not even that.
Yeah.
It is just gone.
No. Because now they're giving a week notice or a 3-day notice to get the fuck out. Get out of here.
Yeah. And I guarantee you it was a rent thing. I guarantee you the rent of that place went up and they're like, nope, we're not paying that. So I laughed when I'm like, man, I only have 2 options to do this. I'm not driving to either of these other places today. And I just went home. So did that stuff later, but holy shit, what a disappointment. So, we do game recommendations real quick. I threw this on here only because when I was re-downloading stuff on my Switch, it popped up in like the feed of digital games, and I had forgotten that they did this remaster. I want to say, I don't know if it's still exclusive to Switch or if it came out on other platforms, but they did that remaster of Puzzle Quest.
Yeah.
On the Switch. Very, like, if you've never played Puzzle Quest, very good remaster of that game. So, and it's not like, because isn't the newer one, like Puzzle Quest 3, isn't that very microtransaction centric?
Yeah.
Like the newer one? Okay. This is all pre that. It's just a puzzle game. So, great remaster of that game. Obviously, it's on the eShop, so you can buy it there. But that would be my recommendation for the week. I actually, somewhere, they put it out on the DS. Yeah. I have the DS copy.
There's been a couple different versions
out,
of that stuff on different systems over time.
Didn't it come out on PSP as well?
Yeah.
Did that era?
Yeah, I would assume so. Okay. And then they did there's lots of different spin-offs.
I played a lot of 2 as well. Yeah, there was a Marvel one too, I think.
There's a Marvel one.
Galactrix was a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Awesome game.
Mm-hmm. I love those. Mine is a game I actually haven't thought about in a really long time, and I probably should play again, but my game is Ikaruga for GameCube. Ooh. This is a fucking great game. This is a vertical side-scrolling or vertical shoot 'em up kind of a thing, like a Gradius or whatever. But the thing about it is it's hard as hell. Because it involves switching your polarity of your ship back and forth, and you can absorb bullets, and only certain colors will kill you and stuff. But it's such a good
the GameCube version is still pretty expensive.
I don't know if it is anymore.
Because I say it kind of came down because they made that
it's been re-released.
HD remaster.
Yeah, you can get it on I think PS4 and stuff now.
It's on Steam.
Somebody actually made, and you can buy. If you get it on the Switch, the original Switch, you can actually buy a controller holder so that you can churn and put the system vertical handheld.
Cool. Yeah,
and that's
the game it's $60 complete for Cube.
That's not
that's
bad.
fine.
I feel like it was a lot higher.
Yeah, it used to be a lot more. A fantastic game though. You can get it on Steam, PS4, all kinds of stuff. If you like bullet hell type stuff, it is great.
About you, Matt?
I'm just gonna say Onimusha. Just because I played it today, and I played it and I kind of enjoyed it a lot, and kind of just made me. It's ironic you were talking about whether or not they're gonna make 3, because now it kind of makes me want to go back and redo 3 to kind of see what it was about again.
3 was the one that had that British actor in it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because it was kind of unique at how they did that.
It was at the time, yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed, like I said, the remaster has been a lot of fun to kind of play back into. So I just think, give it a shot. you know, if not, put it on your wish list. I'm pretty sure it'll go down in price because it's a Capcom game. So
yeah. We can kick over to movies. The only thing that I've watched in the last 2 weeks, I will say I've purchased Superman tickets, so I'm excited about that. But I purchased Superman tickets before I bought Megan 2 tickets. But I looked at here's the reason why. Superman is selling out like crazy. It's fucking wild. Megan 2, I looked up the 7:30 showing for that day. Is like one ticket is sold for that show. I'm like, one motherfucker is going to see that movie.
Don't buy a ticket anywhere near that man.
I am not. He's also really close to the screen, and I don't like to sit that close. Like that either. So I don't like that either. So I'm like, nope.
Bad news.
I got my Superman tickets. I actually I was trying to do that Amazon Prime like the 8th thing. I was going to try and do that. It is sold out at all the theaters that are doing that. So that's why I was like, all right, fine. Because we have it's not at the normal theater that I would go to, but the other theater that's attached to the mall by me was actually going to have one of those showings. So I was like, it's a 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, but like I'd see it a couple days early. That's kind of cool. No, it's sold out. So I think I read too, like I think it's the highest selling pre-sale ticket movie of the year or whatever we're going to call that. So doing well. But I watched Sinners. I have now sinned. I've seen Sinners. So I liked it a lot. It is very unique, but it does share a lot of things with From Dusk Till Dawn. It does have that like first hour of it is not what the second hour of it is.
Not at all.
It's one of those like, now that I've seen it, now I can explain once again to my dad, like, this movie is not what you think it is. Yeah. So because he's interested in seeing it because of the blues music aspect. I'm like,
tell me what that.
That's not.
Did you see that one shot though when they were beginning the concert and how they just kind of like did that like music throughout the ages type thing?
Yeah,
I really thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's really weird and surreal how they do that. Only thing I didn't like about the movie is what I will describe it as, because there is singing in the movie, and like I naturally I'm not a person that likes musicals, so it takes a lot for me, but I do really like blues music, so I appreciate the music in this movie, and it's all very good. There's not a lot, and I would say it's not a musical movie, like there's not a lot of singing, and it's appropriate when it is. But the one sequence that I rolled my eyes at because it just was too much for me was what I can only describe as the vampire river dance sequence. Yeah. And that's exactly like, when I say that, you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It is a little too silly for what that movie's trying to do, in my opinion. And I just was like, I don't think I needed that. So
not at all.
That you're Michael B. Jordan, like, a hell of an actor to play those two roles the way he does. And I also say, like, even for you, Daniel, you're not a big horror person, but like, it's really not that violent for a vampire movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
You saw that guy get that bear trap in the face, and there's nothing any worse than
stuff
that.
Like that is like, it's weird for me because it's really subjective. It depends on the movie and the context, I guess.
It has because I'm not going to spoil it, but it has probably one of the coolest like end credit scenes in a non like comic book movie that I've seen in a movie in a long time. I won't spoil what it is, but the way that it works, the person that they got to do it is a big deal, and the way it fits the story works really well. And it's one of those like, that was really well done, kind of a thing. Like, I would have never put that together. I at the same time, I'm not one of those people that are like falling over like it's the best movie I've seen this year or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if I would want a sequel to it either. Like, I kind of think it could stand on its own, and like we can do something else. But like that guy, and that's the guy that did Black Panther, the director. Like, if he and Michael B. Jordan want to make another movie, go for it.
Yeah,
I'm in on it. So all the acting in the movie is exceptionally well done. So very, very high. It's like 8 out of 10 for me, but very, very good movie. Was happy to finally see it. So that's the only movie I've seen. Next time we record, I'm thinking that's the 27th, right? We'll be able to talk. I'll be able to talk about Megan 2.
Oh boy.
I cannot wait to see Megan 2.
I'll watch it.
But you, Dan,
I watched.
You watched something that I do want.
Yeah,
to see,
all right.
So
I watched The Accountant too. I don't really, honestly, I don't have a lot to say about it. It's kind of like exactly what you think it is. Like, it's very, I guess, paint by numbers. Like, it really is just kind of like.
It's more comedic than the first one because it's just those two guys playing off each other.
Sort of.
Right?
Like, that doesn't happen enough. I feel like that movie needs more of that.
More of it?
Like, John Bernthal really is like the comedic part, like, to carry it. But and there are good parts of him with that. But, like, that kind of falls away towards like the big action scene at the end. Also, I will say, like, they don't do a super great job of explaining the motivations early on. And part of the plot, Matt, we watched it, right?
Yeah.
He's seen
it. The plot of it seems like really convenient. Like that this certain this specifically certain thing is happening that interests him enough to be a part of it. And then there's kind of a neat reveal kind of halfway through about who one of the characters is, and but I overall, like, it's solid. I think some people were like, oh, it's fantastic. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's
I like the first one a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's who the movie is for. You cannot watch this without having seen the first one.
Oh no,
you cannot.
Kind of had a feeling
because like this, they don't do enough explaining things about him. They try to in their own way, but yeah, it's good. The action sequences are pretty good. The one towards the end, like the major one, I didn't really care for because it was kind of like the other ones are more interesting compared to this one. So it's kind of like that's kind of a letdown for that to be the final one. Yeah, and then it just kind of ends. It's, could they make a third one? They could. I don't know if I want one.
Well, I think they talked about if they do a third one, they want to try and bring Anna Kendrick back.
There's something else to. We can do something more with the third one with the way the second one ended, but I don't think we need it. Like, I think it's. I think let's just move on because I forgot it had been like 8 years.
2016.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's weird that now all of a sudden, like, let's do a sequel to that.
Yeah, seen that long ago, but yeah, overall, movie's fine. It's a good watch for if you want something that's action.
Yeah. Agreed. So I got into some weird shit this past week. So I saw clips of this movie, Fire with Fire.
Okay.
It has, man, I can never remember his name. Josh Duhamel.
I know who you. Okay.
You know who I'm talking about. And it has Rosario Dawson, Bruce Willis, 50 Cent, Vincent D'Onofrio. Like,
a favorite of mine.
It's kind of a wide cast, but I don't remember much of it. And like, it's funny because like when you look at the cover art for it, you think that Bruce Willis is going to be like a big part of this movie. He ain't. He is like in it, not very much. Like
This is also kind of at the beginning of that era, I think, where he was starting to have his issues.
Yeah.
And you could tell, start taking like random fucking roles where it's like, why is he this prolific actor taking these like direct to DVD?
It is strange.
Roles,
however,
right? Yeah,
not a bad movie. I was actually quite shocked because like the Vincent D'Onofrio's character plays the head leader of essentially a KKK type organization, and Josh is a firefighter who's in the gas station and sees Vincent's character kill this black store clerk and his kid, and essentially just knocks out the entire gas station. So he's like he's in witness protection because he's trying to, they're trying to pin everything on the guy, but they can't get the guy without him. Like I said, it's weird because I would have never thought Josh would take this kind of role just because he doesn't really strike me as it. But it like throughout the entire movie, he's like gunning people down and shit. Really, really awkward, but not in a bad way. I can definitely say it was a solid watch. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. It reminded me a lot of like essentially what's that last Bruce Willis movie that, you know, his family died and he just essentially avenged them? I forgot what it's called.
Are you talking about the Death Wish? The remake of Death Wish?
The remake of Death Wish. Yeah, but except Josh isn't really getting these people because they did anything. They threatened his new girlfriend, who happened to be the FBI agent that was part of his WITSEC program that was protected. It got really weird into like a romance type thing, but it was actually pretty decent. Like I said, it's on Tubi, and that's where I caught it. It was I gave it a 6. It was a pretty good watch. It wasn't crazy, but it's something I definitely would watch again. The other one I got into was the one I messaged you about. I'm going to butcher this because I don't know what it is, but I think it's called Gongjim Haunted Asylum. I saw a couple of TikToks on it. People talking about, you know, of course, everybody hypes everything up. This is the scariest movie ever made, man. Like,
I see that a lot with like Netflix stuff.
I hate when people do that, but then it also kind of piques my interest. Like, okay, well, what's this movie about? So it is a found footage film. It is a group of 7 people. One is the director. The other 6 are his crew. They go into a haunted asylum where essentially this specific room has been off limits to where like the door is like welded shut, but not because someone has welded it, but because like the evil forces have kept it contained and closed. And they, you know, the 6 characters go into the haunted asylum, and like I would maybe say halfway into the movie you find out that the director is staging everything using the help of like the other 3 cast members. And so it's really interesting how they did it. I will say it is quite freaky. Not like horribly terrifying. But the last 15 minutes are pretty solid of a good watch. I mean, the whole movie was pretty entertaining. I definitely would watch it again, but like...
Well, it's kind of like every one of those like early VHS movies would have at least one of those segments are like, that's pretty fucking
That's
creepy.
A good one. Yeah, this one is a good one because they do things very... It's very creepily well done. And it's funny because we're talking about, you know, Silent Hill F and how it seems like the Asian aspect always gets wilder. I really felt like that too. Like, I feel like I've seen this movie in America done multiple times, but this one is just done top tier. Like, it's just so good. And like, I was watching it late at night and like all the family was asleep. So I had to like mute like the last 10 minutes of it because I couldn't watch it because I like based off of just what was happening, I knew some shit was about to go down. And I just couldn't watch it. So I had to like mute it. And I'm like just watching it muted. But like even watching it muted, I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. Okay. Like it's really solid watch. It's on Peacock if anybody's interested. And then I dove into Vanguard with Jackie Chan from 2020. Interesting because Jackie's not the main character in this movie, but he is
with him.
Yeah, like he's showcased as the main character.
It as he is, but he's not.
I will say the person who, like the main character who they used, I believe his name is like Yang, like his real name. He did a really good job. Like I'm not gonna say he was a younger Jackie because he didn't really do things like Jackie does, but as like an action movie type guy, I could see him doing more. Like it was a really solid watch. Pretty good. I mean, Jackie's in it for a good chunk of the time, and he's entertaining to still watch and all that jazz. So, yeah, go check it out. It was a good one. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It was pretty. This is a Jackie Chan
forgot
movie.
I did watch one other movie.
Ooh.
And I just remembered it as you were going through. I watched that Fear Street movie.
The Prom Queen.
I did not like it at all. As I watched it, I thought it was totally all over the place. I thought the reveal of the killer for me was lame, and then they kind of continued it. But the thing that was the weirdest to me about that movie is just like kind of how violent it got, but it would play it straight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, limbs are just like I saw more limbs flying than I do in most horror movies in that thing.
Wild.
But it kind of was like they were like whatever about it. Like there's one part where like I'm pretty sure like that principal got like his arm chopped off.
Yeah.
But then the lady just kind of picked it up and like gave it to him, and like I don't know, it's weird.
It was a strange one, man.
It was strange. I did not care. Or like I still go back to like I like that one that was set in 78. That one was good, but everything else hasn't been for me.
Very like it's been a very niche set of movies. I can definitely say that, and like it's kind of bad because now I'm at the point now. If they came up with another one, I'm probably gonna end up watching it again because it's just
No, I'll be sucked into it because it's an Arlstein thing.
Yeah,
but,
that's kind of how I feel right now. But
I was thinking because we're recording this Friday the 13th, and I was reminded because you're talking about the found footage thing that you watched.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, the Friday the 13th license is in hell, but
yeah.
I always thought the idea that they shelved that they were going to do after that 2009 remake, they were going to do a found footage Jason movie, where it was like kids found a tape of him killing people. Like I always thought that was a really cool idea.
That'd probably be interesting.
They never came to fruition.
Well, and that's like when I was talking to you about it earlier. I thought I was watching. I think it was Fear Street. I was just kind of like, you know what? Like the idea behind knowing who the killer is in the very beginning of the movie and just kind of seeing them in the background consistently, not like Ghostface and how he like hides or like Jason or anything like that, but actually knowing who the specific killer is. That's what I watched. Yeah, Hard Eyes made me think about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Did we talk about that yet last week?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Sorry.
I haven't.
I watched Hard Eyes this week too.
Is it
that
good?
Just triggered me. No, it's not really.
Okay.
It's not really good. I will say the cool thing about that one though is like there is one kill in that movie
that's pretty good.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And when you see it, you're like, yeah, I feel like that would happen in real life. Like, it's just kind of, that movie is kind of all over the place too.
Okay.
And not in a good way.
All right.
The deaths are kind of cool, but
it's not like that kill from In a Violent Nature.
No, not at all.
Where you're just like, oh, I didn't think, never thought of that before. Like,
yeah, no. So I'll tell you what it is. Like, one of the people, she gets stabbed upwards.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, okay, yeah. You think she's dead. She comes back alive. And then the lady stabs her through the neck. Okay. But when she stabs her through the neck, she stabs her at an angle where her body is kind of above. Like, so this would be the ground and her feet are dangling a little.
Yeah. Okay.
And essentially, like, her neck just starts to split and separate and her head falls off. And you're just kind of like, yeah, I could see that. That makes a lot of sense.
You should watch that Until Dawn movie because there's a part in that movie where they do like a supercut when they're doing the hourglass, and it's like they keep having these deaths, so they do a supercut of the deaths, and they do them real fast, like they're all like 10-20 seconds. Some of those are very inventive and very fucked up.
Okay.
And they're done really quick, but it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's funny you say that.
That movie is worth watching.
Because I actually was going to watch that the other day before you talked about it. And I ended up starting it, and then I was like, nah, not right now. I don't feel like I want to watch that. But
it's worth watching.
Okay, dope. Yeah, I mean, all in all, movies
just to
are in
see
a
those
weird
people
place.
explode it was jarring. I wasn't expecting that movie to be as violent as it is, because it just was like when that kid drank it, and then you could kind of hear his stomach making noise. I'm just like, this isn't gonna be good. Boom! Like, that's wild. Oh my god, yeah. So, that does it for you though. Movies,
yeah, it does it for me.
Okay, we can kick over to emails really quick. I probably should have put this one when we were doing the showcase, but it's fine. Brendan from Austin, Texas. What did you guys all think of the showcases this year now that the dust is settled? Do you guys think that there were any clear winners? We kind of went over that. Any clear losers? It really does seem like Xbox phoned it in compared to last year. I wasn't personally too excited about any of the showcases, but I will say that Bond game looks pretty sick. Any favorite games of any of the showcases either? Bond and Resident Evil for me.
Yeah, I mean...
also Silent Hill. I think Silent Hill F looks awesome.
Yeah, I liked a lot of like smaller stuff from the Sony thing. Like Luminesce coming back is great. such a fun like musical puzzle game. And like my favorite thing about that announcement too was like for the first like 15 seconds, I had no fucking clue what it was. Couldn't figure it out, and then it slowly morphed into what a level in that game looks like. And I was like, "Oh god, it's Luminescence back!" And like, so that was great.
But it's like they're making, because I first thought it was a new Tetris because it's in that effect style. But I was like, it seems too soon for that.
New Bloodstained. Final Fantasy Tactics remake, great. You know, there's a lot of.
I'm excited.
I follow a lot of people who talk about Final Fantasy a lot, and one of them kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna get the name announcement for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3," and I laughed because there's no way that game's 2 years away.
Yeah,
there's no way, man.
And then like you know, a lot of people keep thinking this Final Fantasy IX remake is real. I don't know. Like, I want it? Yeah, but like we're not even done with 7, and you want to throw out a 9
what
remake?
Would it be?
And what is
like,
it?
Do you want it to be at that level?
I don't want it to look like that. It shouldn't look like that.
No, it should look a little different.
Yeah, so like lots of good little things at that show. The Game Fest was a fucking snooze fest, and the Xbox show was a disaster. Sony we give Sony a lot of shit for their state of plays because a lot of times they're boring, and they don't. And like they have no clue what first party games are anymore. And you know, a lot of this wasn't either, but they killed it this time.
Yeah,
and people who,
they did.
And people who don't think that they did, I don't know what you really want anymore. Like,
that's where I'm at.
Are you the person who only wants them to talk about Uncharted or Last of Us until the end of time? Because what I want out of an hour-long presentation is I want a variety of stuff that can appeal to a lot of people. I like a lot of different genres of games, so I was very happy. But like, they killed it. The other two, I could have done without.
Yeah.
You could have made it the best show, like even better Sony showcase by sticking Resident Evil 9 there.
God, that would have killed. That would have crushed it.
That would have crushed it.
If they could have somehow ended on that, that would have been massive. But I think the Marvel game, which
is a big deal.
Well, that was probably my favorite surprise of the weekend.
Yeah,
because I would have never guessed
Bond. I knew was coming at some point. I never would have guessed an anime-style Marvel 4v4 fighting game for the Guilty Gear guys.
Gonna be coming out. That's dope. Yeah,
super good.
Charlie from Westchester, Pennsylvania. Hey guys, I know the last episode at least, Kyle said he was getting a Switch 2. Any thoughts on it? I've had mine since launch. I've been enjoying it, but I have to say, while I don't feel like I have any buyer's remorse, I do feel somewhat disappointed coming off of it. Just feels like a slight upgrade from the original and not really the next Nintendo hardware unit we'll be using for the foreseeable future. What are your thoughts? I mean, I kind of went over them already.
Here's something
I don't have any buyer's remorse because, again, I have a ton of things to play. So
here's something to think about. Now that this is out, and like you said before, it's a Switch Pro. I mean, that's a better name for it than for 2. So. And I think maybe they should have called it something like we talked about. It should have been Super Nintendo Switch or something.
I don't think, because like at first I toyed with the idea of saying it's like a new Nintendo 3DS XL, but there's more going on with it than that.
Sure, but I think calling
it a Pro is a very
it definitely feels more PS4 Pro to PS4 than anything else.
It feels premium,
right?
Most of it, like that dock does.
So let's say that this is what this is. What could possibly be next?
I mean, for starters, I don't think they can ever go back on the hybrid.
No, it has to continue.
Because then you have to separate those two markets again, and they combine them, and now that's what people know Nintendo as.
Yeah,
it's the best of both worlds. Like they even with the Switch, like they managed to figure out how to do that because they had two very distinct product lines. And it wasn't like it was like two very distinct product lines for just a couple generations. It was forever. Because we're talking Game Boy and home console. And they both had iterations forever. And when they figured out a way to bring them together and make it work, especially considering they had just done like, this is a 3D handheld and all that stuff. And they were smart enough to ditch it. And ditch the screens and all that stuff.
Now when you look back at the Wii U, you see what the precursor was with the tablet. So, as far as what they could do to innovate on this, I don't even know.
What's left?
I don't know. Like, it's
PlayStation's in the same boat where like the only thing I care about anymore with PlayStation going forward, graphical fidelity and load times.
More storage.
Yeah. Storage.
and that the storage is fast. That's it.
That's what that's all I want out of it.
I'm more at the point of with when it comes to PlayStation and it comes to that kind of hardware, I don't want to see 30 frames at all.
Everything
anymore.
Should just be.
There's no excuse for it.
4K 60, no load times is the dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not even someone who's big into like HDR and ray tracing. 4K 60 is enough. Like.
Well, so I didn't mention earlier, but obviously, we've talked about in the past, like Doom: The Dark Ages did not sell very well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a big component of that is Game Pass, but I didn't know until recently that game forces you on PC to have a video card that can do ray tracing.
Wow.
There is no way to turn ray tracing off. So I think a lot of and Doom is predominantly a game that people play on PC. So
yeah.
I think that probably turned a lot of people off.
That'll have to be something that is PS6, and PS5 Pro. That's part of it.
But again, like if you're going to use ray tracing, that's fine. I don't care. But it should never come at the cost of 60 frames.
No,
that needs to be a standard.
Right. Well, it should be there should be no more
on a Nintendo platform. It's different. It's forgivable because not now. I think now with the Switch 2, like again, like I've seen, and that's another thing I'll say, like. For whatever reason, I see people posting like, hey, here's my Switch 2 haul. And almost every single one of them has bought Cyberpunk.
Yeah. What?
And I look at it and go, it runs worse on this than a Series S. Why would you want to play through that game on this?
I hate all of these Switch like hauls I'm seeing. Where like,
I do too.
Look at I bought the wheels and I got the camera and I got like, who cares?
I've seen so many people, and like we joked about it when it came out, but I knew it was going to be a big thing. That stupid 480p plant camera.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times I see pictures. I just had to get it. It's like the thing's quality has to be terrible.
It's bad.
So,
especially since it's confirmed you can just use a webcam for it.
Yeah, you can just plug in a USB webcam to your Switch dock.
Your dock has a USB port on it. So
here's another. I didn't mention this crazy thing, and I didn't know this going in. The dock is still USB-A.
Yeah.
So when you buy like a Pro controller, it's still a to C cable.
Weird.
Like I thought they would go all in and just make it C. No. So
you gotta figure why. Like I get that A is maybe
probably because they wanted
cheaper.
Compatibility with that Pro controller from the first system.
But an A to C thing is so easy to buy.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
I would have done 1 and 1. Here's one USB A. Here's one
probably
USB-C.
the answer.
So that makes
it's just sense. Like it's where does Nintendo go from here? And I don't know what that is anymore, other than more storage.
We always have a hybrid now because we can't.
The screen would just be better quality. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you just want hardware improvements and not necessarily.
Do you think that they do an OLED version of the Switch too?
Eventually. I told you, when they get to that part where they do a light where the controllers don't come off, and maybe there's no game slot, which bold move, but there's probably going to be a version that, at some point. If they could argue that gets the cost down to $450, or it offsets the cost of the higher screen. Hey, in order to give you a better screen, we had to get rid of this, and the controllers just stuck to it. Whatever, man. A ton of people bought Switch Lights. A ton of people did it.
I never, I never touched that OLED. I never, because I was just waiting for this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I never did the OLED. And I mean, I think this screen's a huge improvement over the first one. So,
yeah. And it's just and to go back to the buyer's remorse thing, it's you had to be in a position like you are, where you were waiting to play stuff on this because you knew when you bought it, you weren't going to have stuff to play.
Playing games mostly on the Switch in 2022, but I didn't stop buying the games. That's the thing. I still was well, I got to get this. Well, I got to get that. I'll play it at some point. And then it just became, I might as well wait for the new system. Yeah. So
Mario Kart is a good game to have at launch, but it's not a good only game to have at launch.
Agreed.
So that's why they space out that Donkey Kong thing, and you hope that that's good. But then after that, it's you got a couple months before you're getting a Switch 2 game.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I like I said, I still stand by that. There are certain people that I think it's for right now, and I think the majority of people, I fully understand between the cost, between their wonky pricing of games. Because like, well, Mario Kart World we consider 80, but Donkey Kong 70, and isn't, I think, did they confirm Metroid's 80?
I don't know.
For Switch
I don't remember.
So it's all over the place and weird and messy. So, and then the game keycard, all that part of it is just a mess. Mm-hmm. So that I hope gets ironed out. But we can go to the next email. Grant from Dayton, Ohio. Hey guys, I know you've gone over Superman a bit in your movie talk, but I'm curious if any of you have been paying attention to some of the recent things James Gunn has been saying about what is coming next. No Superman sequel, building a Justice League right away. I can't help but feel deja vu here. Do you think they are going to try and rush into this with his universe? Because it sure is starting to seem that way. Also, it really looks like they're becoming more clear, at least to me, that Pattinson is going to get converted into this universe's Batman. Thoughts? I saw him again today shoot down the Pattinson thing.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's
posted like one of those pictures. It doesn't work for me. If you've seen that movie, his Batman will never work with Superman. It wouldn't make sense.
It doesn't work for him too, because he needs to, if he wants to get these individual movies out to make a Justice League thing, then he's going to need to make his own Batman thing. He's not going to want to shoehorn in an existing thing. And by the time a new Batman movie is made, the distance between that one and this one is going to be so far, it doesn't matter.
They still haven't gotten that script.
I know.
Do we really even need like individual movies at this point? Like,
I think you should for the main people.
Okay. I will say this. If the introduction, obviously we already know Superman, it's not going to be an origin movie.
Right. We don't need those.
Yeah.
We know he's already said whenever they get to Batman, we're not going to do an origin.
Right.
I am not put down with the idea of a sequel to this being a Batman Superman team up movie where they're not fighting each other, but they're together.
Okay.
That's fine.
I
have no problem with that.
And I don't think you need.
Should that be the first introduction of his Batman though? No. I don't know.
I don't think you need individual movies for everyone. I think the main three need them. I think it needs to be this man, Superman. We're working on Wonder Woman now. That's confirmed.
Yeah, they announced,
and we're doing a Batman. Those are the three you need. Like Green Lantern, we've established the concept of Green Lanterns in this Superman movie. Doesn't need a movie.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
They're doing a TV show.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't. But we've established the concept of them in this movie universe.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't need a movie, and we could work on that after. Because what the smarter play to me would be like, you make these three, make the Justice League thing, and then there's a Green Lantern movie, and then there's a Flash movie, and then there's whoever you want to do, Cyborg.
Well, also, I think they confirmed with that Peacemaker 2 trailer that Nathan Fillion Green Lantern's in that.
Yeah.
So they're definitely
they're in Hawkgirl.
That's
like
fine.
She's not getting an origin thing. She just exists. There's enough like B-level, C-level characters where they can just show up and just be part of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think you should do at least the big three, and then
their
do
own
that
introduction
as like a team up thing, and then you can split off and do whatever you want after. And
no, agreed.
I don't have bad vibes about this just because I feel like James Gunn has earned the benefit of the doubt after what he did for fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, the most ragtag Marvel property out there.
I still go back to
he made them relevant
before that. He was out asking you like, what is this going to be like? Because I did nothing about it.
Most
be like, what is this going to be like with like a talking raccoon? And like, I didn't know anything about that. And that ended up being like some of the best of the Marvel stuff.
So he's earned the benefit of the doubt, and Superman's going to prove what direction we're going in. Because while I have gotten more faith in it as it's gone along, I still got to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
No, I'm there.
I agree.
Because you and I are on record. We like Man of Steel. I
love Man of Steel, and I understand why people hate the end of that movie.
Yeah.
I'm not in that, and I even go on record because I was talking to my fiance about the other day. Like, the more we get further away from Batman v Superman, the more I look back on that movie. Like, there are some really great parts of that, and I think the first hour of it, until it gets to the wonky, like I'm asleep at my desk, here's the Flash.
Yeah,
that's where it got weird.
Was a mistake.
That first hour of like him being there when that city is getting fucking destroyed and him trying to figure out like, I've never even faced anything like this. Like all of that was so well done. and I was in on that. Like that sold that movie the first like 45 minutes an hour until you get to that weird dream sequence, and then it just got
where
weird.
they forced that in that movie.
Yeah, and then they forced Superman's death into that movie too. So
I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think it's moving too fast. I think you need to get to a Justice League movie sooner rather than later.
But also, like, when your competition is Marvel, and now after Fantastic Four, they're not, other than the Spider-Man movie, they don't have anything until Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Movie-wise.
Yes.
So you have, like, there's no race here anymore. It's not like it was a decade ago where it's like, okay, they're firing off pretty great movies every 3-4 months.
You're behind the ball on Marvel because, like, we've spent enough time building this thing up, and we got to Avengers 1 and it worked. So pretty much anything
now I don't
between
think it matters.
1 and Endgame, it was just like, we're pumping this shit out, and then Endgame, like, the more I see these new Marvel movies, Endgame ended it. Like, it is over.
We're just in this.
We're in this weird holding pattern now. Where we're gonna reboot it, but we're not quite there yet. And how do we do it? And that's why Secret Wars. I hope Secret Wars is the end, and then from after Secret Wars, it's like you can make a movie called
reboot it with the X-Men.
Called All New X-Men, and bam, it just goes
awesome.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
No, but I also think that I think when after that movie comes out, I think they need to take at least a year, if not a little bit longer, just as a break. I kind of like. I mean, I want a new Spider-Man movie, but I kind of really wish at the same time there was this 1.5-year break without anything till Doomsday. I think it would be great for Marvel. You build up that anticipation for that movie in a way that you did. Because remember, between Infinity War and Endgame, the only thing there was Captain Marvel.
The only thing that really works is like the Spider-Man movies do exist in a nice like vacuum of their own, where like even though they've crossed over, like Iron Man was in one, Doctor Strange and Nick Fury, they don't feel like they're part of the greater story. They feel like they're just his story of stuff. So like those are at least able to exist kind of outside the MCU. And
agreed.
But I would still like to see, everybody's talking like 4, 5, and 6. Like, how about we just get 2 more? We get them in before Secret Wars, and we just call it. And we just call the whole thing, and we just start over.
Well, and then the hope would be
Miles, or
when we
like
reboot. Yeah, it's Miles.
There's so many
and
more
just do
things
him
we
for a
can
while.
do.
Yeah,
and nobody would be upset.
No,
about
people
that.
would love it if Miles. Yeah. Little kids.
I mean, we have 2 animated movies that
are phenomenal. Yeah, you know how many little kids would love to see a live action Miles movie? A lot.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it would do insane. So, our last email this week comes from Jordan from Denver, Colorado. It seems like every week we see more and more layoffs happening in the industry, but at the same time we see some very massive successes. However, it just seems like gaming as a whole is on the brink of collapse. Do you guys think that this bubble is going to burst, has burst, or burst a while ago, and we are just recovering from it? If so, what do you think is the breaking point? One thing I brought up with my friends lately is the barrier of entry for a home console has never been higher. Microsoft raised its prices. None of these consoles have had a price drop this generation. And likely these ROG Ally Xbox branded units are going to start in the $700 to $800 price range. It just feels like a lot of people are being priced out of this hobby. What do you all think?
Yes.
It is. No, that's 100% true. Like the barrier of entry. The whole point of a home console has always been like, I don't have to build a PC.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like when we got to like the early 2000s, and
it got to a point where consoles took over so much. And remember, PC gaming wasn't a thing for a very long time.
Sucked until about 2009. The mid 2000s, like to play a PC, like I remember playing Half-Life 2. I remember a time when Half-Life 2 came out and people were pissed they had to install Steam to play that game.
Yeah,
think about that. How fucking crazy that is to say that today. But there was an era like 2006 to 2009 where it was just PC ports were bad.
Yeah.
Getting a 360 controller to work on a PC sucked ass.
Trying to get any game to run properly. You'd finally get a game to run properly, and then you want to go back and play something else. It wouldn't work anymore. It's just like it was just a shit show. It just was a
shit show for so long. And now it's never been easier.
Right now, it's
to build a PC. The problem now is you're priced out of building a PC because of GPUs. Right. Yeah. that's the main reason I didn't build a new PC this year.
You want to talk about like the bubble, like can it burst? It's like is it even possible for it to burst anymore? You don't have a choice anymore. Is the problem.
No.
Like you want to play video games, your minimum buy-in is $500.
It is $500 between any of these systems.
And that's just to get a console and get going. And like from then on, now we're talking about games are $80. I think what you really have to do is like you kind of have to accept the console price is what it is. And if that's going to be your hobby, that's what it is. But the game stuff is where you can be smart.
It is. I do also think that the other thing that's easy to forget is there's an entire generation of kids that have grown up only playing specific games like Fortnite, where it's like they just get their console and they just play that 1 or 2 games, but they're playing that constantly.
The one real benefit you have when it comes to like game pricing and all stuff is the existing libraries of these consoles are massive. Massive. There's so
digital sales are so common now all the time.
Every 2 weeks, the PlayStation Store sale rotates, and stuff will go dirt cheap digital.
I will say right now, I kind of half jokingly call the Xbox a dead platform. They are constantly having sales there to like 80-90% off, like it just ridiculous digital sales.
So
that has been one thing I will say. It kind of started last generation, but really has grown this generation. Is the idea of, because I remember even back talking about it in the PS4 generation of like it would be like we have to get to a point where these digital games can be on sales like a Steam sale.
Yes.
Remember that was always the thing of like you build a PC, you buy your games during a Steam sale. Now we live in that era where like there's constantly like every week there's a new sale on the digitals for like it's like what is it on PlayStation right now? It's the Days of Play. The Days of Play just ended.
That ended and
now they're doing like some sort of 75% off thing. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous.
But that's where you kind of have to use your money and stuff to kind of fight back against the rising costs. Like we talked about it before. Outer Worlds is $80. I love the first game. Will want to play the second game very much, but like 80 is just too much for the amount of other stuff I have to play. That's just sitting here waiting. 80 is far too much. Like as more I came to the realization not too long ago, I really want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows, but my knowledge of the games industry tells me I will be able to buy that for $20 at some point.
Black Friday.
Yeah, easily. But like
for sure.
Or Outer Worlds will be 30 at some point. It just will be. But we're also at this weird point where maybe the bubble is starting to burst because my game of the year was $50. And you know what? Right? It's a lot of people's games of the year is $50. Mafia is $50. And that's a little bit different because
it looks good though.
It looks good, but it's not as popular as I think you want it to
it's
be.
Clair Obscur.
No. But if Clair Obscur can show that $50 works for a price point, there's a lot of these smaller studios are going to take a chance on that. They just saw this game that is brand new, made by a small team.
30 people
sold 3.3 million copies in a month. Yes, it can work. But like, had that game been $80, not as many people would have taken a chance on it.
Not at all.
No, not nearly as many.
The problem is like every hobby is getting more and more expensive. We're talking about like
it is
these Final Fantasy Magic cards. We're talking about, but like baseball cards. The whole sports card thing that crashed decades ago, and now it's crazier than ever because people just keep pumping money into it, and people the Switch just sold how many consoles?
Stopped. 3.5 or was it? Yeah, in 4 days, 3.5 million.
That's $500 a piece. Mm-hmm. All people have proven in Nintendo is that they can charge that much, and that next time they can charge more.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. But again, it's Nintendo, and that was always going to happen.
Of course, I mean,
you'd get the people to bitch, but it didn't matter.
No,
they were stuck in that.
No, that meant nothing.
No, even like it stretches across pretty much any hobby. Like even for me, like I've had to put a pause on doing a lot of the guitar projects and stuff because the prices of those components have gone way up.
$1.7 billion for the
sounds about right.
Nintendo.
Yeah, that's gross, but that's still
so it's just it is across every hobby thing. Prices have gone up, but the thing at least about gaming is that there's also like never been a time that's been better when it comes to digital sales and even sales in general. Like we talk about Woot all the time.
Yeah,
like that's a great thing. Like I've gotten a couple really good purchases off that for very appropriate prices.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the key is patience. Like the
key is patience, realizing like you don't need to play every game day one. Utilizing services like Game Pass or whatever we call PlayStation's version of it.
Yeah.
Premium. Okay.
Or extra.
Like utilizing those services as well. I mean, even like if you're somebody that went out today and bought a PS5, it's worth it. And maybe you haven't played games in a while. It's worth it to get premium, I think, in that point, because there's a lot of games in that service. Is it as good as Game Pass? Maybe not, because they don't get a lot of stuff like day one, like Game Pass
still doesn't have anywhere near the amount of first party stuff it should have.
No, it doesn't. But like, there's a lot of good quality stuff on there. So, I don't feel like you're missing that much.
I think so, at the end of it is like your entry in is expensive, but once you're in, if you're smart, you can save a lot of money by.
You can easily.
By budgeting,
there's plenty of stuff to play. Yeah, like there's plenty of stuff to play. There's a multitude. There's a multitude of things you can get at a very decent price point.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see prices. I don't see going down anytime soon. This ROG Ally thing, I feel like that thing's going to be a bust. I don't see it.
It's for
there'll be hardcore
people.
Yeah, there are hardcore people that will buy it, but it's not. I look at that thing and go, that's a premium product. That's not going to be a thing that flies off the store.
No, whereas if we talked about it before, if Microsoft made their actual handheld that linked to I would have bought one of those because I would have been interested in a Game Pass device that played Xbox games natively.
I will still say,
but even then, that would have been a tougher sell.
If they come out. And they do officially announce this new Xbox hardware or whatever, whenever they do. I feel like next year's the year they do.
At this point,
yeah.
Announce it, not release it. And they say that, hey, you can play Steam games on this thing. That's a day one. I'm in.
Yeah, if it's got that functionality.
If it's that open, and this was the path they had to take to get to that, fine.
Yeah.
Because now you're really coming back with quite a fierce
box that hooks up to my TV. I don't have to worry about upgrades, and I can
just play all my Steam
library on there. That's a huge sell.
That's a huge sell. So that is the one thing I look at and go, that could really bring them back in if they want to, but it doesn't seem like they care that much. So I don't know. So, but yeah, it's wild. It's a wild time for video games for sure. So as always though, send your emails to podcast572@gmail.com. Otherwise we will be back in another 2 weeks for another edition of the podcast. Thank you for listening or watching.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.